Hi, welcome to Montana State of Mind, a place where we recap old vintage paperback romance novels from 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s. Y'all, for those who are new, I'm sorry, I'm about to jump into like some kind of fangirling and lore that only if you've watched this channel for a few months you would understand. If you're new, hold on, I will explain everything. But y'all, Penelope Neri did it again. How this woman is not in the archives with some of the greatest authors. She's still alive. Somebody go find her. I think she's in Hawaii. Anyways, Penelope Neri did it again. I feel like Desert Captive is our favorite because it was our first. It was our first love, and it's hard to, not be nostalgic about it. But I think this one might be better. I don't know. Is it because I'm partial because it's like a Southern-based story? I don't know. I don't think so. I think if the elements were in any place or any culture, this still would be like a really good novel. This novel is amazing. I want everybody to read it this summer. This summer. I want everybody to read Forever in His Arms by Penelope Neri. Go buy it. Go find it. I'll lend you my copy. Because look at it. This is a huge novel. This recap, I can't go over everything. There's characters I'm going to have to admit. There's funny scenes I'm going to have to not talk about. I wish I could just read y'all this novel. Penelope Neri is so good at every chapter. There's no filler. There's no filler. Every bite is decadent, is rich, is needed. She does not waste a damn sentence, because even if it is a little poetic and it's not necessarily too like an action driven thing, she has a beautiful way of writing. I put some examples on my Instagram for people to kind of read. You can't stop it. Anyways, for those who are new here, hi, my name is Montana. And I recap old vintage novels. Penelope Neri is one of our favorite authors on this channel. You can go through and kind of find. She wrote Desert Captive, my first one that we did. She wrote Forever and Beyond, another amazing one that made me cry. I cried at work reading this because I was trying to like kind of double dip and like do my job and this at the same time. And I was crying. I have a customer service based job. I was like, hello and welcome. Can I help you? I'm sorry. Very Marge Simpson with Lisa, like, is one of your fictional characters going through a hard time, honey? And she's like, yeah. Like, I was sobbing. And then I was trying to tell somebody because they were like, okay, tell me what made you cry in the novel. And I started crying, telling about, like, I'm going to cry. I cried in the first chapter. I don't know. The fact that so many, there's James Patterson, there's Stephen King, all these guys writing their bullshit. Oh, y'all, listen to this. Skip ahead. Like, I'll put the chapter mark if you just want to get to the fucking novel. But real quick, let me tell y'all, I was reading this at work. And if one of y'all from work is watching this, don't do this. And he was nice. But it just goes with the stigma. He was like, oh, what are you reading? That looks really old. And he was excited about it. And I was like, oh, I read these for my YouTube channel. It's an old paperback novel. And he was like, oh, my friend's mom had just tons of those. And I was like, well, this is actually like a lot of history. It's very factual. And I was like, do you think all of this would be just straight porn? Like, that would be exhausting. That would be too much. And he was like, well, that's really good that it's got like really good plot. And it just goes to show like why I do this channel, because this is an amazing novel. This should be on Book Talk. This should be a movie. It should be a miniseries. But it's not. Because it was a woman wrote it, and it's a little paperback romance novel. And these don't hold weight. These don't hold currency in the book realm. And we all know that. I could rant forever. Anyways, I try to do a theme with my looks occasionally. And today I'm trying to grow my hair out naturally. So I'm trying to go with like this little mountain look. But this dress, y'all, you can see where I've cut it. because the top was too tight. Like the top of the dress was too tight. This is a $4 dress from Goodwill that I wear cleaning, gardening. Like, it's just, I love dresses. I don't like pants. Pants bother me because it like gives you a muffin top and you have to pull them up all the time. And like, I'm a very unrestrictive clothing person. I bought my first pair of jeans literally this year. In like the past 6 years, I bought a pair of jeans. I haven't worn jeans in forever. Anyways, that being said, this is $4 dress from Goodwill. And I thought it kind of went with like the little mountain Appalachian Dolly Parton kind of just a good old girl theme. Let me preface and say there are different types of Southern. I am Louisiana Southern, but even within that, it's very different. Y'all all know like different states got different pockets and stuff. America's a huge place. So just because this is an Appalachian story don't mean I'm going to nail it, especially with the accents and stuff. It's a different place over there, okay? But it's more in my wheelhouse than the British accents I've been doing and subjecting y'all to. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. What we do here on this channel is we go through the cover art, we go through fictional author lore, of which we'll just fangirl about Penelope Neri for a little bit, because we've done fictional author lore and we've done her real lore. And then we get into a recap where I tell y'all what happens in this novel. And again, I'm giving y'all just the just the roughness of it. I'm wondering how long this video is going to be. But without further ado, let's get into this cover. Now, this is a step back. Remember, I told y'all step backs are the ones that have the little fake cover that looks, oh, it's just a hat. It's just a little sun hat. And then, whatcha. Look at, can I put it up before I put like the official art? But like, look at these. It's like a dull brown. I'm sorry if you're driving, you're missing out. Wreck your car to look at this cover. But like, it's a dull brown, like a hat. And then it's like, whoop-pow, like color explosion, Encanto, Isabella, like just all this color right there. And you think for a Southern novel, it wouldn't have these neon colors. But it does. It does. Okay, now I'm going to put up like an actual close-up of the picture. First off, let me tell you, this is a grown woman on this model cover. This is not our main character. Our main character is 17 years old. Y'all, it's an Appalachian story, okay? It couldn't be historically accurate if she was 25 without children and a husband. I'm sorry. We always have to loosen our morals a little bit when we read these because they are based in history. But she's 17. And I know what you're saying. Please, Montana, is the male lead 18? No. He is... If she's 17, then he's 27 or 28. Yeah, I think they're 6 or 7 years apart. Or no, I think they're 7 or 8 years apart. But at the time, that was decent. But that being said, this is a grown-ass woman on this cover. Which I guess they couldn't find anybody, like, put a 17-year-old. I'm going to be honest with y'all. This doesn't really give Smoky Mountain. It could, you know what? She's kind of giving Dolly Parton. Maybe that was the inspiration to this, was like a Dolly Parton. Because she's a little blonde, a little buxom blonde. She's got a buttercup yellow little sundress on. They're always off the shoulder. Always off the shoulder. Not a shoulder strap on these novel covers. Not a shoulder strap. Bras didn't exist. And so it's off the shoulder. It's got amazing detailing of like just the little like white tulle puckering border with the little pink ribbon in it. Like, gorgeous dress. I would wear this dress now. And then she's got little flowers in her hair like me. She's got little flowers in her hair. Little pink and white, and they're not big flowers like mine. Like, I've got a big Gerber daisy over here. She's got little mountain wildflowers. It looks way cuter. And then she is laying on like this little blanket here. She's laying on this. Oh, I get it. Oh, this is good. This ties in stuff from the novel. I'm just now realizing this. Okay. She's laying on a Native American quilt that comes into play later. Remind me. I might forget. It's a very small detail, but I can see why they put it here. She's laying on this Native American quilt, blanket looking thing. And then the guy behind her, he looks like Luke Duke from Dukes of Hazzard. Blonde, tan, poofy, swoopy hair. He is wearing jeans and a lame copper vest. I know it's probably supposed to be leather, but the way that it's shining on this cover, it looks like he is wearing he looks like a Ken doll, like in Western wear, where it's like shiny copper vest. And honestly, his hair is kind of given like greaser hair, like it's got the little ducktail in the front. That was real popular in the South for a while, far too longer than it should have been. But they're both blonde-haired, blue-eyed, little white mountain people. And honestly, who I pictured in this novel, okay, I pictured a few people. I, of course, pictured Dolly Parton. But then we meet an actual Dolly Parton in this novel, and I'm like, you know what? I'm holding these two out for Carrie and Johnny from the movie Carrie. I recapped that movie on my Patreon. It's given that. Just gorgeous little blonde-haired, blue-eyed little southern babies. And then the rest of this cover is, again, splashes of neon blue, hot pink, purple. These are stargazer lilies around them. Greens. There's, oh, look at this detail. Hold on. I'm going to have to like show y'all this on the video. Okay, we got all this going on. And then look in this. I never noticed this. In this top corner here is like the Civil War. Because that's what happens in this novel is the Civil War. And like, look at this. This didn't have to be there. This didn't have to be on this novel, but the artist went ahead and was like, I'm gonna do a little corner Civil War there. I wonder what this looks like full page. Like, I wonder if there's more. You just can't beat it. All right, we're gonna get into Penelope Neri, and I want to read y'all the author biography back here that she wrote herself. You have to know that she wrote this stuff. Penelope Neri has been a firm believer in romance ever since the day she and her husband fell in love at first sight. He whisked her from the rolling hills of her native England to the sunny shores of his native Hawaii, where they live with their 3 children. And then it goes into, you know, kind of her novels she wrote. But where is that story, Penelope? Where is the little English woman being whisked away by a Hawaiian hunk? That sounds beautiful. We've got to interview. I've got to get this channel bigger so I can get the resources to interview her and be like, tell me your love story, Penelope. Tell me. You write so beautifully. Obviously, you've been in a great fairy tale romance. What's it like? But look at this picture of Penelope in the back of this book. She looks adorable. She looks adorable. I can see why her husband fell in love at first sight. She has got such kind eyes. And she's got like short brown hair. I kind of wish it was a little more voluminous. I'm a Southern girl. I want some volume. I hate flat hair. God, I hate it. Unless you are Cher and like doing the Cher hair. I hate flat hair. And she's got this dress. I don't like this dress. This dress is not good for her frame, but I know at the time, bigger busted women did not have many options. She looks like a cutie patootie. I would love to have lunch with her and just talk. Tell me your story, Penelope. Maybe I can help her write her memoir. Oh, wouldn't that be iconic? Like a memoir of one of the best-selling romance novel authors. I wish I had money and time to do all these things. All right. We need to get into this novel. It's a lot. It's a lot. Now, for those who are new, let me preface and say that I'm not a professional reader, voice actress, accent person. I'm just trying to bring to life these stories. When I do line work, I'm just trying to help y'all envision it, okay? I'm just trying to help y'all envision it. And now this story, I honestly almost put my hair in rollers and like got some tinfoil and brush because this is giving like Southern drama. I was recapping it a little bit to some friends and I was like, you won't believe who showed up at Thanksgiving to try to continue the wedding. And then you won't believe what her sister did. Her sister, like, I can't, but it gave like gossip for sure. But yes, I'm not a professional. I'm just trying to have fun here, trying to recap it as if y'all were here sitting on that couch right there. Also, trigger warnings. Okay. This is about the Confederacy versus the Union. This is also about a little about like there's going to be topics of slavery. There's going to be slaves in this novel. There's going to be of who's siding where, but Penelope Neri does her research. Unlike a lot of authors who write historical fiction and don't do shit, this girl will like go to a Confederate Union battleground. She will go to Pleasant Hill and just like touch the dirt and be like, the dirt was coarse that day. Like she does the most. I learned so much in this novel. If you can imagine, the Caddo Parish school system was not like up and up on teaching a lot of history. And so I learned a lot. And then I feel really dumb because she uses a lot of real generals' names and historical figures. And I'm like, I don't know who that is, but he sounds important. So maybe some of y'all history buffs will be like, oh my God, she wrote about that guy. And I'll be like, she sure did. But yes, it will talk about slavery. There will be acts of sexual assault. There is no rape. Know that. But there are acts of sexual assault. I don't go into detail. I literally just say she was almost, but I'm just, for those who are new, who don't know, I don't feel like we all know bad things happen. We don't need to get to those details. And then there is death. There is family drama. I mean, it's a heavy novel. This is not a light beach read by any means. But at the same time, it's still fun. We're going to have a fun, light time. I do not make it that heavy. So yeah, don't worry. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this novel. We open with a poem that I think is very fitting and I want to include it. It is called Patchwork Memories. There's dimity and calico. There's flannel, white and blue. There's linen, silk, and burlap in the quilt I made for you. Because I miss you so, my dear, I sewed this quilt for you, to warm you on the battlefields of gray and Yankee blue. Each stitch I took with tender care, each block I pieced with love. See, here's the treat we courted neath the sourwood and our dove. I filled this quilt with memories, dear, not dreaming of the day that this old quilt would come on home, but you'd be forced to stay. I must start crying. God damn it. I sewed this quilt with hope and prayers, and now it's stained and worn. The colors are still faded, the tree I stitched is torn. The hems are ragged right and left, the patches dark with mud. And is that scarlet cloth I see, or my fallen true love's blood? A Lament of a Fallen Soldier by Jenny Lynn Delaney, Mockingbird, Great Smoky Mountains, Tennessee, 1865. We open with a prologue. And we meet Tyler McKenzie, and he is 16 years old, and he is a barefoot, strapping young man from the Smoky Mountains, and he's walking around doing whatever boys did back then, getting into hootenannies and troubles. And he sees a little blonde girl who's about 7, and she is crying, holding a dead dove. And he knows that that is Jenny Delaney, and Jenny Delaney is the daughter of, it's very Romeo, Juliet, Hatfields, and McCoys. The Mackenzies and the Delaneys, they do not get along. They will shoot each other on sight. And so he sees little Jenny Delaney, and he's like, I do not want to fuck with her, and deal with that mess. So he hides in a tree, but he notices that she is trying to keep this poor little dove with a broken wing alive. And she is 7, so she is not understanding. And so he finally climbs down, and they talk about death, as a 7 and a 16-year-old do. He tells her, it's got to go, it's going to die. And she's like, no, it's not. And you can kind of tell. And he's like, silly little girl. She's so dumb. Girls are so dumb. And a young girl later shows up named Dolly. Now, for those who have an Instagram, I have a little petite 50-pound basset hound named Dolly. Dolly and Tyler, now that they are 16 and 15, they are looking at each other differently. And they are acknowledging that things are different for them. as they are coming of age. And so just in short, this little prologue is him meeting Jenny when she's very young and she's a stubborn little dumb blonde girl. And then him and Dolly are each other's first sexual encounters, and, you know, strawberry wine plays in the background. We open with chapter 1, and Jenny is now older. I forget exactly how old she is. She's in her teens. She is grieving the death of her grandmama. Grandmother Perry passed away. And she is grieving hard, and her mama does that thing that all Southern mamas do. Well, it's just in God's plan. And Jenny, God bless her, says, well, I hate God, and runs off. And I'm like, what a character introduction. Wow. Whoa, Jenny. We're already kind of getting like, she's a rebel. She lives with her 6 siblings, her mama and her daddy, and now her widowed grandfather. And this made me cry in the first chapter because Mama, it was her mama that died. And Mama's seen, you know, she's dealing with a teenage daughter that's going through, just pubing out everywhere. Her grandmama died. She's upset. She says, I hate God and I hate you. And she just runs off to the dogwoods. And then Mama, God bless her, she sits in Grandmama Perry's rocker. Oh, I'm already crying, y'all. I'm such a sap. And she says, quote, you mind if I sit with you, Mama? And she rocks in her mama's rocking chair and just like mourn, because she's the mama. She can't mourn because she's got 6 goddamn kids crying for their grandma. And I was like, okay, Penelope, goddamn it. You're already getting me. Jenny is grieving in her favorite tree. All us Southern girls have our favorite crying trees. But I do think it's interesting. I'm going to talk a lot in this video. I'm going to sidestep a lot. I'm so sorry, y'all. But this is the one culture I get to talk about, okay? Although it's Appalachian, I am North Louisianan, so I get like the steam of Cajun culture bubbling up on me. I get the runoff of Appalachian culture, and I get the heat from East Texas, and it makes this mess, okay? We don't really fit in anywhere. I will say, I feel like a lot of Southerners, and not just Southerners, people who are out and about in the outskirts of the world, I feel like we all run to nature when we're upset. Because when I lived on my farm up in Arkansas, I couldn't sleep at night. And so I would just walk around in the woods and in the pastures and just look at the stars all night. And so when Jenny's up in her favorite tree, I'm like, I get it, Jenny. We have to go back to the earth. We have to go back to nature. We have to just walk around and just look at the moon and grieve. She's reminiscing that Granny sewed her wedding dress because Jenny is engaged to Cody Bibble. That's a weird name. But she's engaged to Cody Bibble, and Grandmama Perry made her wedding dress, and now she ain't even going to get to see her in it. And it's just a bad time. It's just grieving. But as she's trying to cry, the McKenzie boys show up on Delaney Land to go skinny dipping in their pond. Are you fucking kidding me? I can't even grieve for 5 seconds. But you know what? You know what Jenny does? She just steals their clothes and runs off. And she lets their horses off the tethers. She's like, well, that'll teach you not to come. I feel for Jenny. Jenny and me are one of a kind because she's trying to do right, and she's grieving in her tree, and she's trying to be one with nature, and the goddamn McKenzie boys show up, and she's like, son of a bitch, and she don't want to call attention, but she just takes her clothes and lets her horses go, and she's like, now what? And we are going to meet a young mixed woman named Tansy. And at first I wasn't even going to include Tansy, not because she wasn't like a cool character, but because I can't do every character. But she fucking shows up in the end. So keep an eye on little Tansy. The little Tansy's there, and she's sweeping off the porch, and she is enslaved to Mr. Parker's, who's like something, don't worry about him. She is enslaved to a man and a woman in East Tennessee. But the point of this part is the McKenzie boys show up with their hats over their privates. And she's like, okay. And I like this. She stood and watched horrified while the 4 McKenzie boys, each one stark naked but shrewdly carrying his hat over his middle to shield his privates, approached. and they drew level with the mulatto woman. Billy Mackenzie nodded cordially. Morning, Miss Tansy. I trust you'll forgive me if I don't tip my hat to you like a gentleman, but... He grinned apologetically. I love Penelope's dialogue. That's a hilarious scene. Y'all might be like, Montana, that wasn't okay. But I thought it was cute. Like 4 little boys show up with their hats over and they're just like, I would tip my hat to you, Miss Tansy, but I mean, I don't think you want me to. And she's like, Lord, no. Now, Jenny's grandmama gave her a locket, and it's got Grandmama Perry and her grandfather in it, and it plays a song called Forget Me Not, like a little tune, and it's Jenny's most prized possession. And during the skinny dipping skerfuffle, Jenny drops it. She doesn't know it yet, but Tyler Mackenzie has it. He has her locket. And you know Jenny's got to get her locket back. This is going to be an ordeal. And I can't help but wonder if Grandma Perry up in heaven, she did this. That's the Southern in me. I'm like, this was an act of Grandma. She dropped that locket for Tyler to find and set off this whole goddamn book. Obviously, Jenny is panicked to try to find her locket. And so she's like, I'm going to go off after breakfast and go for a walk because we ain't got nothing else to do. So I'm going to go for a walk. And she goes for a walk and she runs into Tyler. And he says the typical, looking for this. Holds it up. He offers her a trade, though. He'll give the locket back if he gets his clothes back. Or a kiss. And Jenny, I forgot where she put them clothes, but she ain't got the clothes. I think she just chunked them somewhere. And he was like, those were literally my Sunday best. And she's like, well, that's not my problem. You went skinny dipping in your Sunday best. And she's like, I am absolutely not kissing you. That will never happen because our families hate each other. And he's like, well, then I guess I'm keeping this goddamn locket. And so Jenny is like, fine. She has to come up with a scheme, I guess, to get the locket back a different way. Y'all may be wondering, do we get a backstory as to why the Mackenzies and the Delaney's hate each other so much? Yes, we do. And it is this. What began it all, Pa? Jenny asked hesitantly. Our family fighting with theirs, I mean. Who started it up in the first place? The Mackenzies, Jessie said firmly in a tone that brooked no argument. The way my granddaddy Delaney told it to me, the feud began way back when our two families first settled in the hills after leaving Virginia. They were close then, though. Good friends from back in the old country. Well, one of the Mackenzie boys began courting one of the Delaney gals, and the two families were real happy about it. But then, on the day of their wedding, the bridegroom up and rode off before sun up. And when he came back, it was a full year later, and he had another woman and a baby with him that he claimed was his wife and child. Said he couldn't bring himself to marry Delaney girl the year before because he didn't love her any more than she loved him. He lied, claimed that she had told him she'd lost her heart to someone else, a man her pa disapproved of, that she was only going through with marrying him to keep the peace between the families. But there wasn't a lick of truth in that, he said. Of course, the poor little gal never recovered from being jilted by the man she loved. Folks figured he played fast and loose with the girl and deserted her when he got what he was after. So her good name was ruined for all time. Never did marry. And so the Delaneys swore they would never, ever forget the Mackenzies' insult to their family's honor. And they didn't. My granddaddy's brother, Uncle Henry, shot and killed the man she was supposed to wed not 6 months after he came riding back into the hills. Then, just a while after that, one of the Mackenzies killed him. An eye for an eye. It's been that way ever since. Y'all, the biggest sin in the world is pride. There, I said it. The root of all evil is pride. People will not just apologize and say, I fucked up. When we start learning how to say, I'm sorry, I messed up, I did not know that, the world will heal. But until then, I have always said pride will ruin everything. There's having pride in yourself, taking care of yourself, your home. There is that. But then there's that evil pride that we see time and time again, that we are seeing currently right now all the time around us. Of people just don't want to say, oopsie, my bad. How hard is it to just say, my bad? All right, we cut to Tyler, and he is at a brothel. He is a young man after all, and he is with Jezebel Jordan. And that is his old friend Dolly. Dolly is now the town tart, and her name is Jezebel Jordan. And I know what you're saying. Oh, I hate it. Don't. Because she came from a rougher family. If you can imagine, these are poor Appalachian people. She came from an even poorer Appalachian. She's a businesswoman, okay? Don't feel bad for her. She's a queen. But anyways, just know that Dolly, his old friend from the little prologue, that is Jezebel Jordan. So her and Tyler are actually like best friends, genuinely. But they do fuck. I mean, it's a small town. What do you do? And so they're sitting there after their rendezvous. And he pulls out that locket. And she's like, what the hell is that? And he said, this belongs to little Jenny Delaney. And she's like, Tyler, don't you be messing with them little Delaney kids. Like, not Jenny. Jenny, she ain't like me. Okay? Like, this would be me telling. She ain't like me. Like, little Jenny Delaney's a little God-fearing little girl. She has never left her home. Don't you ruin her, Tyler. You fuck around with me, but like, no. But they do try to figure out how to get the locket back. You know, he's like, I got to get this locket back to her. Like, I can't keep it. It was her grandmama's. Like, he has a conscience. We cut to a wedding. Oh, it's a hoot and hollering good time. This reminds me of Steel Magnolias. Like, every good Southern film begins at a wedding. It's like the only thing we have to do. But Jenny is at the wedding, and she is with her little beau, Cody Bibble. And God bless little Cody. I'm not mad at him. He's a big boy, like a big broad-shouldered boy. His daddy and him are blacksmiths. He's one of those just gentle giants. But there's no passion. He's a safe choice at the time. And Jenny enjoys him, but she don't want to kiss him. She don't want to be enraptured in those big arms. Like, she's just not feeling it. And he tries kissing on her because he's like, come on, we're about to be married in in a month or two. Like, let me kiss you. And she's trying to, like, in her head, she don't want to because she's not attracted to him. But outside, she's like, I am a God-fearing Christian woman. No, Cody Bibble. We will not be doing anything until our wedding. I'm a good girl. And we all know, like, no, it's just because you don't want to kiss him. If he was hot, you'd be making out with him right now. I see you, Jenny. But I feel like we've all done that excuse way back in the day when we could make that excuse. No one's believing that for me right now. But back when we could make that excuse in high school, just like, I am saving myself. I am, to think you would treat me like that. A good day. A thunderstorm breaks out. And it gives her a chance to get away from old Cody Bibble. But as she is hiding, y'all, it is a Southern Pride and Prejudice moment. Tyler McKenzie shows up. And this whole time I'm reading it just like tongue in cheek, just like, Not the thunderstorm. Not the enemy of her family. Not him holding her grandmama's locket saying, like, you needed it. Like, Grandmama Perry, I swear to God, she fucking did this on purpose. Is redneck Pride and Prejudice. And y'all, it gets even better. Because she says, I'm engaged to Cody Bibble, and he is a good boy. And Tyler McKenzie says, I'm not. And he kisses her. I love Penelope Neri. Let's run through that scene again. Okay. She's with Cody Bibble, and he's trying to kiss on her. And she's like, no. Oh, how dare you? And then she runs off because it's raining. And she's under a little shed or something. And out of the rain comes the hottest goddamn man she's ever seen. But she knows it is the enemy of her family. And she's just trying to hold strong like, Nope. And she's like, I am engaged. Cody is a good boy. I would never do that to him. And Tyler's like, I fucking will. And just grabs her and kisses her. And y'all, she ain't felt. The thunder outside does nothing to the thunder in her heart. The flood of emotions that she feels. Oh my God, she has never felt sexual tension in her life. And now she is feeling it. She just, from going from never experiencing romance and even thinking about it to being kissed, like, she's terrified. Two gorgeous, gorgeous people kissing in the rain, and it's hot, it's heavy. I'm picturing it in my head. Just, and they're talking and they're gasping, and in between gasps, you know, he's like, promise me we'll meet again. And she's like, okay. Like, wouldn't you? Oh, it's steamy. Y'all remember Tansy? Her owners, don't worry, they'll get theirs. But her owners, one of them is a school teacher. And at first, she seems like a educated woman, as best as you can. And she teaches Jenny to read and write. And she says, every like Wednesday and Thursday, you come up here and I will teach you to read and write. Great. Oh, real quick. I don't know if it happens right now. Again, I didn't think Tansy was going to be that big of a deal, but so I might have missed out when it happens. But Miss Susanna, the school teacher, she gets rid of Tansy because her husband was sleeping with Tansy. And of course she's going to blame the fucking woman that she owns that has no choice and not her fucking husband. So Tansy has been sold, I think, to a brothel. But that's not the last we see of Tansy. But just know, Susanna owned Tansy. Tansy's off at a brothel somewhere. It's not a big deal, but it is. Anyways, Jenny's learning to read and write. We love that for her. Love that for her. Tyler, so she's leaving her little lessons. She's walking down the little dirt road with her little slates. And Tyler actually shows up. And he's like, you thought I was bluffing? Girl, I'm here. And I want to just get into the steam. I want to give y'all some steam, okay? I want to give y'all some steam. If you're driving, pull over. No, I'm kidding. If you're at work, make sure no one's around. He gripped her chin, tilted her face up to his, fitting his lips to hers in a gentle kiss that set her thoughts reeling as their mouths touched, parted, came together once more. He tasted faintly of tobacco, with a faint underscoring of moonshine whiskey. His scent was all male, dangerously exciting and different. Heady potpourri of shaven soap, of starch and clean, sun-dried linen, mixed with something more. Something subtle and less easily defined. That was his scent alone. The faint yet pleasant animal tang of a clean male sweat. Of masculine health, vigor, virility. It was a dangerous scent to one as innocent as Jenny. You mustn't say such things, nor kiss me, she whispered brokenly when he drew his mouth from hers. Yet she was clinging to him even as she said it, her palms pressed to that broad width of chest in a gesture that was both offensive and caressing. One that ended with her fingers curling over to grip the cloth. Paul'll kill me if he catches us, and you too when he's done with me. Our families are enemies, Mackenzie. Don't you think I know that? He rasped, his eyes searching her face. Don't you think I've weighed the risks, the cost to you, to both of us? If we're caught, then let me go, she whispered. I can't bring myself to. Yes, you can. Try it. Just let go. Obediently, he drew his arms from her. He stepped back, his hands upraised as if in a surrender. All right, he said heavily. If that's as easy for you, go on. Run on home. Jenny stood there, torn in two by the conflict raging inside of her. She wanted desperately to run, as he'd urged her, wanted to turn her back on him and run like the haunts that were after her to a safe, familiar cabin in the security of her family. But somehow, she couldn't do it. She couldn't take a single step. Not the first nor the second. It was as if she was rooted to the ground, held to him by a force far stronger than any magnet. So I was right. You feel it too, don't you, Jenny? Tyler demanded triumphantly. His sapphire eyes were ignited, wild blue stars in the bronze of his rugged, handsome face. His breathing was labored. Clenching his fist at his sides, he challenged her softly. You felt it from the first, the same way I have. Like we're being pulled together come hell or high water. No matter who gets hurt, nor what price we have to pay for the hard road we take. She shook her head, yet he knew she lied. The truth was there, shining in her violet eyes, trembling on her swollen, reddened lips. Her knees were shaking. Dread for what the future may lay coiled in the pit of her belly like a water snake coiled in some deep, dark pool. And yet, a sweet, irrational madness was blazing up from inside her, too. Her heart sang with joy as he confirmed her own deeply buried emotions, for his admission ignited feelings inside of her that were like a shower of hot sparks. Feelings that Cody never had, never could ignite in her. Yes, the good Lord help us, yes, Tyler, I do. I feel it too, but I'm so scared. I've never been so scared in my whole life. Ugh. You gotta envy that kind of love. Have y'all ever had that kind of love? Where it's just magnetism like that? Oh, they obviously confess their love. And Penelope Neri, unlike some of these romance authors, she gets right down to it. Because she's realistic, okay? They obviously are in the throes of their hormones. They are alone in the woods. Jenny and Tyler engage in, I don't know how to say it. Tyler and Jenny make love. They make sweet Smoky Mountain love. And I've read some of Penelope Neri's sex scenes on my Patreon, so y'all know. But I want to add a preview and some details that I like that for some of y'all who don't do the Patreon thing, of which let me go ahead and plug. Real quick. I know I hate when I listen to podcasts and stuff and they want to talk about the Patreon. I make it real quick, I promise. On my Patreon, I have the links below. I have 3 levels. For I think, $3 you get steamy scenes. That is where we read all of the sex scenes that I can't read on YouTube. Like this. You can listen to Jenny and Tyler putting the smoke in the Great Smoky Mountains on my Patreon for $3. For $5, I recap a movie. This month's movie is The Greatest Little Whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton and Sir Burt Reynolds. This is a really heavy novel, so I wanted to do something light and fun. You will see why that is the perfect... A brothel is a very large play point in this novel. And Dolly Parton is from the Great Smoky Mountain. I just thought it was a perfect movie. Okay? I just thought it was a perfect movie. So we will be recapping one of my favorites that I have forced all of my nieces and nephews to watch. Is the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Now, it is a musical, but I love that movie because the ending is so different. It's so different than what you're expecting. Like, you're expecting some little 80s musical, Grease, kitschy, but it's actually like an amazing cinematic movie that deals with what we deal with now, because I'll just give you like a preview if you don't know what that movie's about. Dolly Parton is like a madam of it's called the Chicken House of a brothel, and is it Dom DeLuise who's the preacher man? I forget who the preacher man is. I think it's Dom DeLuise. It's somebody with a bad haircut, and he rolls into town doing his televangelist bullshit, and he wants to close down the Chicken House. Now keep in mind, the Chicken House has funded the Little League new uniforms. It gave to the church. That place keeps the town running, and it's kind of like the town don't mind, because they're just like, oh yeah, when like the college team wins the state championship, they go for a night over there to celebrate. Like, it's just known. It's a tradition, like any other business. It's no different than like a liquor store or a casino. But little Dom, the little preacher man, stirs this shit and starts saying like, we got to close down the Chicken House and all that stuff. So that's kind of like how the movie goes. And then Burt Reynolds is the sheriff, and him and Dolly Parton obviously have a romance, and so it's them trying to fight this little preacher man. But I think it's really poignant. It's a great way to discuss kind of the South and how we battle our very sexual culture and our very religious culture. They are one and the same down here, you know? And then that's $5 level. And then I think like $7. This is my Patreon. You think I would know my prices? I don't. I think it's $7. Because in this economy, I just couldn't gouge y'all. $7, we do Sunday stories where I have a lot of print media. I have a lot of newspapers, magazines. There's a lot of good articles written by amazing journalists that people just don't hear about. And so I like to read one of those Sunday stories. Last month, we did the Mooney cult in South Korea and how that was linked to the assassination of the former Japanese prime minister. But we also cover like Martha Stewart's book. We've covered Sinners. We cover everything in that section. Like there's not really a category I won't touch. We've covered a murder. Anyways, it's a good time. That link is down below. But back to what I was saying, a detail in this Strawberry Wine music video, if you will, is it's very sweet how Tyler undresses Jenny, and she is ashamed because her drawers are made of flour sacks. These are, barefoot Appalachian mountain people, and he kisses her from head to toe, pulls her flour sack drawers off that she is ashamed of, and he says, one day I will put you in silk. You will wear the finest lace. You will wear the finest silk. And it's just so sweet. It's so sweet. I love it so much. I wanted to give y'all, because this is such an extensive sex scene, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a preview. Let me just read y'all this one little paragraph, okay? So y'all can kind of get like Penelope Neri's amazing talent. With bated breath, she traced the knobs of his spine down to the broad leather ridge of his belt, then reached aside his shirt front to caress the light furring of hair across his heaving chest, closing her eyes to commit the feel of him to memory. And as she explored his body for the very first time, the restless yearnings inside her almost overwhelmed her. The sheer white heat of what could only be desire exploded through her in a million aching star pricks of need. She clung to him, pressed her trembling body to his, wanting him so, wanting him in ways she'd never dreamed she could want in a man. She wanted to belong only to him, wanted to be his woman in every way, wanted to give him the only gift that was hers alone to give, the precious gift of her chastity, the same priceless gift that she'd so rashly, thoughtlessly pledged to Cody. In the next few chapters, we kind of get their routine of, Mondays and Wednesdays, she goes to Miss Susanna's house and learns her reading and writing, and afterwards meets Cody. And she just tells her family it just takes that long to get from Miss Susanna's back home. Because they're like, God, it takes you till dark to get home. I didn't think she lived that far. And she's like, she does. She lives, it's a long, winding road way over there. Yeah, it takes like an extra 20 minutes. Her oldest brother, Daniel, though, he does not like her coming out at dark. Because he's like, only whores walk around at night. He's like, what kind of woman are you trying to be walking around here in the moonlight? Like, you're embarrassing the family. You need to figure out a quicker way home, And everybody's kind of like, yeah, Jenny, you get home real late. Like, maybe you don't need to be going to your lessons then. Because it's dangerous. There's like mountain lions out there. He's worried about her virtue, and I'm just like, she could be snatched up by a bear. But that is to introduce Daniel, and Daniel is a very controlling brother. And I love this part. I know I'm reading a lot. I'm going to be reading a lot in this novel. But Penelope Neri just writes the shit out of a novel. And Jenny is, if y'all can remember, when you're first in love, you're first losing your virginity, it's like your first sexual relationship, you think the fucking sun and moon were hung up by little cherubs. You're just on cloud 9. Remember? But here I wanted to read this. After that, she tried to concentrate on her work, afraid Mama would suspect something was amiss, but it had been no use. Everything she saw now, she saw through love's shining new eyes, with clarity and beauty that left her speechless, aching to share each wonder with him. There was the first wobbly-legged walk of the late fawn she spotted, while berrying with Katie in the bushes above the waterfall on Cherokee Ridge, The spray from the falls misted her face and hair. She stood transfixed and watched it, wishing he were there to share in its beauty. The lightning flutter of a hummingbird's tiny wings as it sipped nectar from the long-throated white flower had mesmerized her with its hovering and whirring. The painstaking struggle of a humble ant as it hefted a breadcrumb back to its nest, inch by laborious inch, had never seemed more noble. Even the silver snail trails looping over a grassy mountain meadow at dawn had taken on a fairy tale beauty. A mountain witch's scribblings on a grassy slate, the rainbow glitter of dewdrops strung on a spider's web, sparkling in the morning sun, had seemed more precious than any necklace of diamonds. And now there was this, a tranquil pond gleaming like a looking glass of ebony crystal, its surface drenched with the silvery light of a big old buttermilk moon on a night just made for sweethearts and courting. I love that. Oh, I love that. Rainbow glitter of dewdrops, a buttermilk moon, a glass of ebony crystal pond, the silver snail trails looping over the grassy mountain meadow. Like, this is all beautiful. And I love it because Tennessee is a beautiful state. Absolutely gorgeous. Y'all got to get out of Nashville. Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains are absolutely breathtaking. I love it. I went to Dollywood, but I was lucky enough to stay at a hotel that was around the Smoky Mountains. I loved it. It's beautiful. I can see why Dolly is so nostalgic about it. I know, much like Louisiana and a lot of southern states, it's not the best place to grow up economically wise and education wise, but there's beauty in the woods. There's beauty in the wilderness, you know. There's beauty in that untouched old land. There is a small detail because Jenny, I don't think, can go see Tyler anymore. I think like her family's like no more midnight walking around. So Tyler comes and finds her, and he does. Do y'all remember that old Blake Shelton song, Old Red? He does that trick. He gets his female hound and runs it past the Delaney's male hounds so that they will be distracted. And he and Jenny go skinny dipping together. And I just thought that was funny because she was like, how'd you get past them dogs? And he's like, dogs like the same thing I do. A pretty girl. And as they are skinny dipping, of course, we have another Patreon moment. They make love again that Penelope beautifully describes. And I will give y'all this little sentence because, again, she just writes so amazingly. Both her flowing corn silk mane and the tiny darker pelt of curls crowning her mons were stirred by the lapping water, so that they tossed like the fronds of a sea anemone. That's a wow. How many romance novels have we read modern day where they're like, they can't even describe pubic hair, and Penelope is gonna sit there and say the darker pelt of curls crowning her mons were stirred by the lapping water, they tossed like the fronds of a sea anemone? I mean, lock it up. It's never been written better. Jenny is making dinner later on, and her mama, now I know I haven't given a lot of time to her mama, but her mama's a good woman. God bless her. She's had 6 kids. They're making dinner. Mama collapses just out of nowhere. And we've been getting some inklings that mama hasn't been feeling well. She's been a little clammy. She's having to sit down a lot. But yeah, she just passes out at dinner time. And we have this. There was a pool of blood on the floor beneath Nancy. More soaked the hems of her skirt. Her face, Jenny saw biting her lower lip as she hastened to kneel at her mother's side, was the color of the ashes they used to make lye soap. As they go get the healer, because again, this is Appalachian, like I can't say it enough, they don't have doctors. They have healers, and so as Paul is going off to get the healer, Jenny does the best she can to take care of her mama, and she does a great job. To which the healer says, you have your grandmama Perry's gift. It's a gift to heal. Sometimes it can be learned, with these doctors and such, but to truly heal, it's a gift to understand. And so Jenny's very proud that she has that connection to her grandmama. And so she kind of hopes that she can grow up and be a midwife and a healer and take care of other women. Obviously, Mama miscarried, but she will live thanks to Jenny's quick acting. Like, she lifted her legs and, like, put something on the blood, and she did all kinds of little mountain magic. But because of Jenny's quick thinking and stuff, because it took the healer, like, an hour to get there. Like, her mama's just bleeding out. Like, you had to know. Mama will live. But my God, tell Paul, whatever his name is, get off of her. Get off. You got enough. Oh, here it is. They used rye mold to push the poison out. That's it. Which is true. Like, it's crazy how back in the day, it's all like modern medicine, because they used rye mold they gave it to Nancy to eat, and it makes you throw up and, like, expel deadly tissue and stuff. Now, please, for the love of Christ, do not be eating rye mold thinking that you are expelling toxins. This was the 1800s in the Smoky Mountains, okay? Don't. But in this novel, that is an accurate way of, at the time, they handled that. Because, again, Penelope Neri does her research. And this healer, she cracks me up because she talks just like a little old lady. Like, Penelope Neri, for an England woman, I guess she must have went and hung out somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains, because this is some shit like my grandmama would say. Because they're like, do you need a ride home? And she said, I still own a good, strong pair of legs, young Jessie, she insisted. If it's all the same to you, I have a notion to use them till they wear out, and the good Lord fits me with wings instead. Like, that's such a grandma thing to say. Like, I still got legs until the good Lord fits me with wings instead. I'm going to start saying that. Like, I love Southern, country, rural, old lady and old man sayings. Like, it's always crazy. I heard one the other day. Someone says straight up and down like 12:30. And I was like, what? Stop. Get out of here. Get out of here, Mr. Charles. Get out of here. It's saying straight up and down like 11:30. 12:30, my bad. Got a good pair of legs until the good Lord fits me with wings instead. Sorry, I had to say it one more time. Y'all, fucking Daniel. He shot a Mackenzie. He comes home. I did it, Paul. I did it. I shot a Mackenzie. Because let me tell you, Daniel, okay, this is getting into Southern gossip. Daniel Delaney, he has something to prove, because Perry Delaney, the oldest brother, he moved off to Nashville. And Daddy thinks, no, not my son being a city boy. Not my son. So he kind of like disowned him, because Perry went up and moved to Nashville because he didn't want to live in the mountains for the rest of his life. God forbid. And so Daniel, he's like, well, I'll make Paul happy, and I'll do everything. I'll do everything to make Paul happy. He shoots a goddamn Mackenzie. Jesus Christ, Daniel. I'm getting ahead of myself. He shoots little Brody. Brody is, I think, one of the younger Mackenzies. He shoots him in the back. In the back. And Billy Mackenzie, I know, y'all are like, who? Don't worry. Brody, the youngest Mackenzie, was shot. Tyler's kind of in the middle, I think. And then Brody Mackenzie, of which they say, I think it's interesting that they include that he is Black Irish. So Black Irish are the Irish people, isn't it? With the dark eyes and the darker hair. They're Black Irish. I just found that interesting. Again, Penelope like drops sometimes, like, you're just like, oh, Ramon, Black Irish. He wants revenge. Tyler says no. Because Tyler's like, it's just going to make a cycle of violence. And I feel like he would say this even if he wasn't fucking Jenny. He's just tired of it. He's like, we're just making a cycle of violence because, okay, so they shot one of ours and we're going to go shoot one of them and we're just going to keep shooting each other until we're all dead. Like, where does it stop? We're just making a cycle of violence. Paul Delaney, Jenny and Daniel's daddy, slaps Daniel and says, he doesn't say this verbatim, but he says, you goddamn idiot. Because guess what, Daniel? Now the Mackenzies are going to show up and kill us. You shot one of their youngest in the back. Kid's like 12. Now what, Daniel? Now what? fucking idiot. And Daniel's like, I was just trying to make you happy, Paul. And Paul's like, by getting us all murdered, you moron. Ugh. Everyone's hiding out for a shootout. The Mackenzies and the Delaney's, everybody's hiding out, waiting on who's going to walk out first and get shot. Ugh. Tyler wonders if Jenny's fear of her family is bigger than her love for him. And that's going to be a big theme in this novel, is what is bigger, the fear of your family, the fear of acceptance or rejection, or your love. Tyler grabs Jenny. And now remember, nobody knows that they canoodling, okay? So Tyler grabs Jenny and holds her quote unquote hostage. Tyler's smart. He spent some time in Nashville, okay? He ain't been in these mountains forever. He spent some time in Nashville, and he says, put the guns down. And if y'all want to fight this out so bad, fist fight. He tells Billy and Daniel, fist fight like men, and let's settle this. And Paul, Jenny's daddy's like, agreed. I like the way to settle that. If y'all want to kill each other so bad, kill each other with your bare hands like men. Billy beats the brakes off of Daniel. I mean, for 4 pages, beats the shit out of that little cunt. And as the boys are beating the shit out of each other, doing what men do, Mama and Jenny are talking. And Mama, because Mama's a girl's girl, Mama's kind of like, that Tyler Mackenzie, he's pretty smart. He's not like the other Mackenzies. He's kind of clever. And he's kind of handsome too. And Jenny's like, Mama. And she's like, I'm sorry. Just delusional from nearly dying. But Nancy's not dumb. Nancy's not blinded by this stupid male pride. Nancy's like, Tyler, I see you, Tyler. I see you. Guess what Pa does? He whips Jenny for being caught. Because, okay, I'm not saying I side with Pa. But if Jenny and Tyler were not in a relationship and her running off during a shootout because she scampers off to go find Tyler, but in the family's mind, she just scampers off to be a fucking idiot. And he's like, you could have gotten murdered. You could have gotten raped and killed. When I tell you to stay, you fucking stay. So I don't think him whipping a grown child, I don't think him whipping any child is going to solve that problem, especially a grown child. So I don't agree with that at all. But at the same time, it's very Little Mermaid of like King Trident. Daddy has a point sometimes of when I tell you to fucking stay during a shootout, stay. I mean, can you ground kids back then? What would they be grounded from? The butter churn? I don't know. We have another Patreon. I'm not sure what happens. But I have Patreon page 200. We will get there next week, I guess. Now, okay. Jenny's got a little sister named Lissa. And Jenny's got her hands full with these siblings. Because he's a piece of shit. And he's healing up from his manhood and his body being broken. And then Lissa is pissed because she's always mad because Mama likes Jenny best. Jenny's just perfect little Jenny. Jenny can do no wrong. But Lissa's also, she's like 13. And she's got a little beau that she's interested in named Gus. And her and Gus go kissing. And Lissa, is supposed to be in I'm saying all these names. Lissa is supposed to be in charge of little baby JT, her little brother. He's like a toddler. Younger than toddler. He's crawling age. She loses the baby making out with Gus. And she wonders why Nancy likes Jenny best. At least when she's off fucking, she doesn't lose the baby, Lissa. And guess what? She doesn't just lose the baby. She loses him next to a river. Lissa, girl, you wonder why your mama is stressed on you all the time. Don't worry, they find him. He crawled, thank God. They find the blanket in the water and obviously assume the worst. But they do find him. He crawled the other way. But Jesus. Nancy, I need Nancy's story. I need Mama Delaney's story because she must be stressed. She must be stressed all the time. I would be drinking that moonshine. Ooh. Mm-mm. She got one kid getting beat up. She got another kid losing the other baby, like, and then she just miscarried, nearly died, like, and to the people who want to go back to that lifestyle, are y'all insane? Y'all want to eat rye mold to get the miscarriage tissue out of your vagina? That's what y'all want to go back to? Be my fucking guest. Sorry, that was bold. But truly, this trad wife bullshit, no. No. Now I'm about to go eat old stale bread to get the fetus out of me. And as Mama and Daddy Delaney are yelling at Lissa for losing baby JT, ooh, y'all. Lissa's face was contorted with spite and hatred as she seethed. Oh, she trusted me, did she? And what about you, Miss Pure and Innocent? What about her trusting you every Monday and Wednesday afternoon, Run along to Miss Parker's, Jenny, or you'll be late. Lissa will see to your chores once it's done. Won't you, hun? Oh, my darling Jenny's doing so well with her reading, I can hardly credit it, she mimicked her mother. Oh, yes, you think you're so darn smart going off to Miss Parker's and taking reading and writing lessons, then coming home and trying to talk real fancy. But I know what you're really up to, Jennifer Lynn Delaney. Yes, sir. I know what you really are. And how do I know? 'Cause I came to meet you one afternoon, sister dear, and guess what? Instead, I saw you and him together up on the ridge. And it surely wasn't reading and writing he was learning you, neither, down by that swimming hole that night. Jenny tottered on her heels. She was stunned by Liz's revelation, struck dumb for an instant, unable to protest. She'd gone so white, Liza thought for a moment her sister was going to faint. And in her rage, fueled by her fear of her parents finding out about her negligence and her guilt over flirting with Gus, she would have relished watching her to do so without lifting a single finger to help her. What's wrong, Jenny, darling? Lissa taunted spitefully. Cat got your tongue? Ain't even gonna deny it, sister dear, huh? Deny what? Said a deep voice. And then it goes like that's a chapter break, and you're like, oh shit, who showed up? Oh my God. I would have went for Liza's throat. It would have been another fight for Nancy to break up. Oh my God. And I feel like if you have siblings, y'all have had that fight in your family. Because I know my siblings and I have. Of ratting each other out on our sinful crimes. Oh, especially if you've got a sister. Oh my God, me and my sister would be running to just trying to get to who. You gonna get mad at me because I messed up? What about her? She ain't studying. I learned early on it was easier just to be upfront and honest with my parents. I was the third kid. They were real tired by the time I came along. And if I was just honest about my sinful and what I was doing, what party I was at, they were like, that's fine. I don't care. Just don't get pregnant, please. But I remember one time my sister was so pissed because she was like, Montana gets away with everything. Montana gets away with everything. And she was like, do you know where Montana is on Saturdays? She's over at Dylan's house because he's having a party. And my mom was like, I know. I talked to Dylan's mom. She stays in the guest house so she doesn't have to drive home after drinking. I know, Misty, because Montana's honest and tells me the truth, which isn't true. But I just knew to be honest about certain things so that you win their trust. And then I'm probably giving teenagers the worst advice here. You pick and choose your battles, okay? You pick and choose what you tell your parents so that they think that you're honest enough that they can trust you. But my God, don't break their hearts. But yeah, I would have absolutely went for Liza's throat. I don't know many girls that wouldn't have. Or I guess I could have been like Jenny and just passed the fuck out. All right, I'm talking too much. Y'all are probably like, who the fuck was at the door? God damn it, Montana. It's Cody Bibble. Cody Bibble shows up during that skerfuffle from hell. And Cody is just there to talk to Jenny because he's got some news for her. I'm trying not to laugh. He's got some news for her, y'all. You know the corn shucking this weekend? Guess who's invited? The McKenzies. And Jenny's like, really? Because the corn shucking was between, I think, the Bibbles and the Delaneys and another family. I think it was 4 families in the mountains, and they would have a corn shucking hootenanny. And they usually only invited the Mackenzies or the Delaney's, but because they thought the Delaney's were kind of still pent up with their, like, you know, mom that's nearly died with a miscarriage, like Cody was like, we thought she nearly, like, we thought y'all needed more time to recover. So we invited the Mackenzies. And so now we've got the fucking Mackenzies and the Delaney's at the corn shucking. Oh my God. And obviously, fucking Liza, I keep calling her Liza, Lissa, she watches Tyler and Jenny the whole night because they're just sitting there trying to act like they don't know. No, like, I've never met him. Oh, it's that Tyler boy. Ooh, I don't like him. Ooh, it's that Jenny girl. She's not the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And Liza's just watching them, waiting for them to slip because she's pissed. Tyler, y'all, I can't say this with straight face. Tyler wins the corn shucking, and his reward is he gets to kiss a girl of his choosing. And so everybody, Liza's just watching him. Like, you gonna pick Jenny. You gonna pick Jenny. He doesn't pick Jenny. He picks another girl. And he kisses her way too much. And Jenny is just... And Liza's looking at Jenny, looking at Tyler, making out with this girl. And she's just like, this is even better. As if it wasn't enough for y'all to kiss each other, him kissing another girl is making it more obvious. Tyler and Jenny are having like a come to Jesus moment. Tyler's like, I can't do this anymore. Our families are going to fucking murder each other. You and your sister are going to kill each other. Like, we've got to come clean, Jenny. But Jenny can't tell her family. Like, she can't. She's like, I can't do it. But she won't let... And then Tyler's like, well, I'm a man. I'll do it. I'll go tell your daddy. Like, no problem. Of which I'll give Tyler credit. That's what he's supposed to do. You know, he doesn't... He's like, Jenny, I'll hold your hand and go to your daddy and say, I love you and I want to marry you. Like, I will do it for you. But Jenny, I mean, she's 17. And she's just like, no. I'll do it. Like, my God, don't do that. And it is a big fight. Because remember when Tyler was saying, like, your fear for your family is bigger than your love for me? That's going to be a big theme in this novel. Is Jenny's fear versus her love. All right. Anger rose through him then. For he understood only too well, far better perhaps than he wanted to. Measured against her love for her family, her love for him came off as a shoddy second best. And that was the bitter truth. It cut like knives. Still, he bit back his harsh words. What good could come of raging at her, of trying to force her to choose between them and him? Even if she chose him under duress, it would be a hollow victory. For surely as day followed night, there would come a time in the future when she'd grow to hate him for making her choose, resent him for coming in between her and the family she loved. He sighed heavily. She was little more than a child, a lovely, innocent child, for all her womanly ability to arouse him, to make him want to cherish and protect her more fiercely than any woman he'd ever known. He'd understood that when he mule-headedly started this thing, despite his conscience's objections, all Jenny had known till now was her family's love and the secluded ways of the hills. The strict morals and narrow thinking of a lifetime's upbringing among these fine yet insulated hill folk had left her unable to think for herself, to make her own choices, let alone allow her heart to rule over her head. I like Tyler. Tyler's a complex character. And for once, we're not... A lot of these novels, they really spend a lot of time on the guys. And I never know why. Because I'm like, isn't this written by a woman? They spend a lot of time on the guys. I guess to make the reader, like, fall in love with the guy. I don't know. But Tyler, it's very equal, Tyler and Jenny. And you really get to know each one of their, like, motivations. And Tyler, he is so thoughtful and mature for a mountain man. Because listen to that. He's like, he acknowledges this is a child. She is 17. He is a child. And although he is aroused by her, he cannot negate the fact that she has never left her home. She knows nothing. He went to Nashville. He knows the world now. And he's been with other women. He's with Jezebel Jordan all the time. And he just knows that forcing Jenny to pick is just never gonna, like, it, even, like I said, it would be a hollow victory even if she picked him. And we have this. As he turned back along the path leading between the laurel trees from higher up in the Smokies, the throaty howl of a lone wolf rang out, long and mournful on the cold, damp wind. In his troubled frame of mind, it sounded like an omen of misfortune. He couldn't shake the gnawing sensation as he pulled up his collar, thrust his hands deep in his pockets, and started home. A lone wolf. Jenny is at Miss Susanna's reading and writing. But this bubbling of a civil war is coming up. This secession from the Union, you know. And Jenny and Miss Susanna debate slavery. And now Miss Susanna is a quote-unquote learned woman. And Jenny is just a barefoot little blonde girl from the hills. What would you know? What would you know? Because Jenny, in her simplicity, is like, well, I wouldn't want to be owned by somebody and torn away from my family. Therefore, I wouldn't want to do it to somebody else, no matter their skin tone. And Miss Susanna is like, oh, Jenny, you're putting too much feeling into it. Think about the economy. The whole South would crumble without slaves, because Miss Susanna says, like, no one would work for those wages because you would have to force someone to do it. She acknowledges nobody is going to pick cotton in the heat for no amount of money. No amount of money. You have to force people. And Jenny's just like, figure out a different way. Like, no. And so Jenny pops off because, remember, she's got like that healing touch. And she's like, well, for such a learned woman and you know all about the economy and slavery and how it benefits everything, did you know that you're pregnant? Did you know that you're pregnant, you fucking idiot? And Miss Susanna's like, pregnant? I've been throwing up every morning. I'm hot and I'm clammy and I'm peeing about. Like, I never thought. Like, again, some smart people are very, very stupid. And so I love that for Jenny, because she's just like, okay, well, at least I know when I'm having a baby. She's leaving Miss Susanna's home because Miss Susanna, now that she knows she's pregnant, she's just like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And remember, like, Miss Susanna was real kind of hurt that her husband was sexually assaulting the slave in their home. And so she's very thrilled that she's pregnant by him. She sees Tyler at their meeting spot as she's walking home. Without preamble, he strode to meet her and growled, I saw Cody today down at the smithy in Mockingbird. Oh? He was talking up a storm about how you and him were going to be married at the end of this month when the circuit preacher comes to town. She nodded, her head bowed. He thinks so. Yes. Thinks so? He exploded. And when the hell do you plan to break the bad news to him, Jenny? On your wedding night? When your first youngin's about to be born? Christ's sakes, what the hell kind of game you playing with us, woman? Her head snapped up. I'm not playing any game and you know it. Do I? How, Jenny? How do I know? You haven't been straight with me, girl, not from the first. You haven't done a damn thing to prove how you feel one way or another. Remember you swore you'd handle it on your own way and your own time? How you begged me to leave it all to you? You haven't done a blessed thing. You even let that poor sap Cody Bibble go on thinking you'll be his bride. Tell me, how am I supposed to feel when I have to stand and listen to that poor bastard dreaming his little dreams about the woman I love? Am I supposed to grit my teeth and take it, goddammit? To agree with him and wish him good luck? He clamped cruel fingers over her upper arms and shook her, desperate to make her see what she was doing, to shake some sense into her. Because so help me, it's got to stop. I won't take it anymore, not one more day. You're hurting me. And what the hell are you doing to me? Fiercely, they glowered at each other, amethyst eyes blazing into sapphire ones that were as hard and as implacable as their jewel namesakes. All right, he said at length. If you've nothing to say, so be it. You wanted things to be your way, then by God, you just go ahead. I'll leave you be. I'll give you all the time in the world. What are you saying? She cried. I'm not meeting you anymore, Jenny. It's over between us. No, don't say that. I said it and I meant it. When you're all grown up and ready to make a stand, ready to go to Cody and your folks and tell them you love me and want to be with me, then let me know. But until then, he spun on his heels and began striding away from her between the skeletal trees, walking out of her life without a backward glance. Wait, come back, please don't go. But he made no sign he heard her, not a glance or a wave. In disbelief, shocked, she stood there, staring after him until he'd vanished, before giving way to the huge knot of agony in her heart. The chill autumn wind iced the tears streaming down her cheeks, but nothing could melt the frost within her breast. Tyler's right. I'm sorry. Tyler's right. He has every right not to put his hands on her, but he has every right. Like, if we were in the beauty shop and we were talking about this, because this happened in, like, the fucking post office or something, I don't know. He has every right. She is just toying with him because she's 17. But see, this is what happens when you date children. They play games. They don't even know they're playing games, but they're playing games. This is what happens. See, this is what I would be like. See, this is, okay, Tyler's dating a child. You're going to get child games. But in the same vein, if Jenny loves him so much and says all those things when they're making love, girl, go tell your daddy. Because she don't want to marry Cody. Like, what is she waiting on? The time is ticking. Every day is getting closer to that wedding. What will you do? You are going to put off an uncomfortable situation right now, and it's going to get real uncomfortable at the church. You gotta nip it in the butt, girl. You gotta do it for your man. It's uncomfortable now, but it's gonna be mighty uncomfortable now, ain't it, Jenny? Because now you ain't got none. You're gonna be stuck with Cody Bibble, crying every night, holding his babies. Like, oh, y'all, get your fans out. Pretend we're like in the salon. These kids these days. Jenny tries to go tell Mama, and it's that thing of Mama is doing that thing where she's got 6 kids. She's busy. You are always working when you are in that situation. And so Mama's just like, I'm listening, dear. And Jenny's just like, well, Mama, I need to talk to you, please. Like, me and Cody, I like him. He's a nice kid, but, and, Mama's like rolling pies, and she's just like, oh, I know, honey, you're nervous. I was nervous marrying your daddy. Okay. And Jenny's like, no, it's not nerves. Like, I don't want to marry him. And she's like, you just got cold feet. It's so cute. It's so cute. And finally Jenny's like, slams her hand down. She's like, Mama, I don't want to marry Cody Bibble. And Nancy's like, Jenny, my little, what is this? Jenny. And so Nancy, God help her. She's distracted. She got a lot on her plate. God help her. She says, I get it. I have not told you about the birds and the bees, and you're scared. You have every right to be. It's a very scary moment. And she's like, let's go upstairs and I will talk to you about sex. And Jenny's like, that is not what I want at all. Like, if only Jenny could be like, I already know. But Jenny's like, I do not want that. She's like, I promise you, Mama, it is not sex. It is not, I do not want to marry Cody Bibble. And goddamn fucking Lissa shows up. That girl. Lissa, she's like Kitty from Pride and Prejudice. Nancy says, is it someone else, Jenny? Like, do you love someone else? And Lissa pops off, someone else for our dear Jenny, but the fine, upstanding Cody Bibble? Oh, Mama, how could you think such a thing? Why, our Jenny no sooner be sweet on another boy than take up with a damn Mackenzie. Ain't that so, Jenny Lynn? Again, Lissa would be, not with the baby being missing, but Lissa's little ass sure, ooh, I would drag her by her hair out in the goddamn mountains and leave her for bear food. Jenny's frustrated. Nothing's going right. She runs to Grandma Perry's grave and cries over her grandmama's grave. And I'm crying with her because that's the saddest damn scene I've ever seen. She's lost her man. Her mama won't listen. Her little sister's a devil incarnate. And she is crying over Grandmama Perry because she's like, why would you leave me when I need you? I can't do this. I can't marry Cody. I don't know how to fix me and Tyler. No one's listening to me. Like, what do I do? And Grandma's just sitting up there going, I promise I did this for good. Like, because I know Grandma Perry put that fucking locket on the ground for Tyler to see. I know she did. And I just know, like, oh, again, if this was a movie, I'd be crying. Anytime Grandma Perry shit happens, I'm going to be crying. Oh, ugly face. Fucking Lissa shows up. She has the gall to ask Jenny to cover for her because she needs to go sneak off with Gus. And if Jenny don't cover for her at Thanksgiving, then Lisa's going to tell everybody she was fucking Mackenzie. If I was Jenny, I'd be like, girl, you are barking up the wrong blackmailing tree because, no. It is Thanksgiving. The Delaney's and the Bibbles are having Thanksgiving together. Could not be the worst time to break this news to Cody Bibble. But Jenny does. Jenny tells Cody, I don't want to marry your ass. He doesn't believe her. He gets very angry. He doesn't put his hands on her, but he's like, I do not agree. Nope. I will marry you. And he kind of like, I'm not having sympathy, but I will say Jenny she didn't know. It's not Jenny's fault. She did not know she would fall in love with Tyler. But in Cody's eyes, he's like, you have strung me along for 2 years saying that we were going to get married. And now a week before we're supposed to get married, you're saying you love someone else and we can't do this? And he's like, you think I'm some dumb little simple-minded idiot. I'm a man too, Jenny. I'm a man too. Again, there's no real, outside of Lissa and Daniel, and the slave owners, there's no real bad people. Like, everybody's very human in this novel. Penelope Neri writes very good humans where you're just like, I don't know, they both have points. No one's truly at fault here. It's just a mess. It is Thanksgiving. Tyler comes back. I forget how they show. She sneaks out. He sees her. They make love for, and I mean pages. Like, the Patreon for $3 is going to pop off. I'm going to be exhausted reading it. It goes on for pages. Penelope Mary, she makes love to the typewriter. She's just sitting there just hammering out poetry. Remember, Lisa needed to sneak out. Okay, so Jenny's back. Her and Tyler, I guess. It's going to be a lot of off and on again, okay? Lisa wants to sneak out, but she has to wait because Jenny's not back and she's got to watch the baby. Anyways, so she hasn't snuck out just yet. Daniel, older brother Daniel, he's developing alcoholism. He is developing a huge taste for corn liquor, and he is becoming an alcoholic. Couldn't be an Appalachian tale without that. And as he is drunk, he falls asleep in the barn. But he wakes up to little Gus looking for Lisa. And he finds the wrong Delaney. Meanwhile, Tyler and Jenny have gone up to an abandoned cabin from that belonged to a Native American man and his wife. And we get this really sad story of this Native American man and his wife, and they did not follow their tribe down the Trail of Tears when it happened, because remember, it all went from like Tennessee and Virginia, those tribes, was it Cherokee, and they were pushed down to Oklahoma. He did not go, and so he was the last of his tribe, and his wife died, and he became an alcoholic, and they say his spirit haunts the cabin. It's a side story, but I guess it's Penelope Neri's way of including that history in the Appalachian history, because it is part of it. She's like, I can't write an Appalachian novel without mentioning the Trail of Tears and kicking Native Americans out of the state and how it decimated them. But anyways, Tyler and Jenny are holed up in his cabin, and that is where they make love for pages. Sorry, I have so many notes and they're kind of everywhere, but we are halfway through this novel. Again, Jenny and Tyler are holed up in that cabin because it's kind of Jenny's way of saying, this is how I will tell my parents. This is how they will find out that we are together, because I'm not coming home. And so in that, we jump back to Gus is in the corner. The Delaney's are screaming at him. They're screaming at Lisa. They're screaming at Lissa. Lissa. It's Lissa. What is that? Lissa? Yes, I'm saying Liza. Like Liza Minnelli is down in the Appalachian Mountains. Wouldn't that be a great role? I would love to see Liza Minnelli as like Grandma Perry. Now I'm just picturing Liza Minnelli like in a rocking chair just singing Broadway, singing Appalachian hymns, but in her Broadway tenor. I'm not even going to imitate that, but it'd be great. But anyways, Lissa is getting scolded by her parents, and she She's so pissed because Jenny's missing. And they're focused on Liza. And they're just sitting there going, where is Jenny? Where is Jenny? Where is our little Jenny? Liza, you little slut. And Liza's like, why don't y'all go check the Mackenzie's cabin then? If she's so fucking perfect. And her parents are like, what? The Mackenzie's cabin? Why would we? Did they steal her? And Liza's like, no, she's fucking one of them. I'm like, God damn it. Jenny and Tyler Mackenzie's been carrying on in them woods all summer. That's why you should look there, she revealed triumphantly, her pale blue eyes flashing with spite. After all, I reckon it's too darn cold for sparking out in the woods tonight, wouldn't you say, Pa? They all seemed to suck in a collective gasp at this, as if the idea of their sainted Jenny doing anything so shocking had never occurred to them. Oh, I know y'all reckon she's so sweet and fine, studying, her reading and writing on that little slate like a good little schoolgirl. But all this time she's been fooling you. She's been meeting up with him, a Mackenzie, Pa. I know, 'cause I seen them up on Sourwood Ridge together more than once, and they look real friendly to me. But then, maybe things weren't how they looked. Maybe I'm wrong, and our darling little Jenny just had it in her mind to put an end to the feud between our families in her own little way, all by her little old self. For a moment she thought Paul would strike her, but instead he turned away, shoulders sagging like a beaten man. In that moment, Lissa knew without a shadow of doubt, for the time being at least, she and Gus's misbehavior had been well and truly forgotten. No! Cody cried, and it was a cry torn from the heart, the cry of a man betrayed by the woman he loved. Jenny and Tyler Mackenzie? No, I don't believe it. Not my Jenny, Paul whispered in a strangled, wounded sort of a voice, shaking his head slowly from side to side. In answer, Lissa only smiled, cat-like, and shrugged. I'm only telling you what I know. Let's get going, Cody, Daniel urged through gritted teeth, grabbing his hat from the peg by the door and snatching up his long-barreled gun from where it was propped in the corner. We've got us some hunting to do before the trail cools. We cut back to Jenny and Tyler, and they are just playing house. They are taking care of the horses. They are getting the kindling. They are just having a good old time. And Jenny knows by this time, everybody knows. She's like, I know Liza's probably told by now. Yeah. Daniel shows up first with a gun. Okay? And remember, Daniel's all liquored up because he's a walking alcoholic. And he wants to lynch Tyler. He don't want to shoot him. He wants to hang him. For Jenny to see. For everybody to see. This is a whole chapter, and it's written great, but I can't, we've got so much, y'all. But anyways, obviously Tyler wrestles the gun from Daniel. He's like, you're drunk. You don't know what you're talking about. Him and Daniel get in a fist fight. Daniel falls off a small cliff, not a one to kill you. One that you'd be like, whoop, whoop, and fall and be like, ow, my elbow. He falls off, but God damn it if he don't hit his head on a rock. Daniel's dead. Tyler is now Tyler's killed him. It may be accidental, but how are you gonna talk your way out of that? He is so fucked. And here we have this. He's saying he's like, either your daddy's gonna hang me or the marshal will hang me. I will be wanted for murder. We have to go now. We have to leave now, Jenny. But I saw it was an accident. I know it, but there won't be no telling them that, and you know it. Not after the way our kinfolks have been fighting for years. You go then, I'll stay. I'll tell them the truth. I'll make them believe it. I swear it. I'll tell them he fell. Come on, Jenny. You think I can leave without you? Just like that? Knowing I can never come back? Never. I love you, Jenny. And we're leaving here together. Get dressed. You're coming with me. In that moment, Tyler heard the baying of hounds. That sound made his blood turn to ice, made the hackles rise in tingling waves at his nape, as if a noose had already been slipped around his throat. Cody and Jesse Delaney must have heard Daniel's warning shot. They'd be here in minutes. Crossing the lodge, he grasped Jenny by the elbow and hauled her to her feet. Move, he ground out. No, you'll have to go alone. I won't come with you. You mean that? She hesitated and nodded. I do. Mama will need me. To hell with your damn mama! He exploded, shaking her roughly. You're a grown woman, Jessie. What about me? What about us? Do I mean so damn little to you? I always come up last in everything. Their eyes met, blazing sapphire to wounded violet, for agonizing moments that seemed like an eternity. Say it, he pleaded silently. Do it. Love me enough to follow me to the ends of the earth, and your kinfolks be damned. I'll spend the rest of my life making you glad you chose me. But she was the first to lower her gaze and look away, and his heart sank. She'd made no protest, no effort to deny what he said, and his love faltered, withered like a flower curling on the vine. He was filled with bitterness as acid, as gall, as he said softly, All right, then I guess that's it. You've made your choice. She made no move to halt him as he strode across the lodge, not even when he turned once to look back at her before ducking under the hide hanging. Moments later, she heard the jingle of a bridle and the drumming of horse hooves as he galloped away, followed soon after the crack of several shots and loud yells. Sounds that made her flinch, made her heart ache with the agonizing fear that he'd been wounded, perhaps killed. There was only silence till her father and Cody came. Crying. I can't cry on this. There are so many people who don't get on YouTube because they're afraid of how silly they look. And here I am just like fucking crying all the time. Give me a minute. I feel so bad for them. Like, she was so happy. And her brother just died. Like, again, no one is right or wrong in this. Her brother is dead. What will her mama... She's thinking of her family. It's the only thing she's ever known. She's goddamn child. God bless him. He's like, please love me. Pick me. I love you, Jenny. Pick me. And he tells her, you know, back in the day, a lot of men would not be saying all those words. And he tells her, it's such a good novel. This would make such a good movie. And this isn't even the saddest part. It gets sadder, y'all. Like, this is pretty sad. It gets sadder. All right, we've got Jenny coming home. What is her daddy whipped her for less. What y'all think he gonna do? We have this interaction. Welcome to Montana's theater. Jesus. You deceived us all. You lied to us. Worse yet, you committed adultery. And with a man your kin has every reason to hate. And then, as if it weren't enough, the two of you killed my boy when he caught you in the act of sinning. There ain't no way I could ever forgive or forget. No way. He drew a shuddering breath. His work-worn hands seemed to flutter aimlessly about before him, like giant bronze moths, not knowing where to land. Jenny realized with a deepening sense of shock that her strong, controlled father was fighting back tears. He, who abhorred such unmanly shows of emotion, was but a heartbeat away from weeping. The knowledge was like nails hammered into her heart. In that moment, if she could have given her life in place of her brother's, she would have done so gladly to spare her father this agony. Hardening his jaw, Jesse Delaney continued. I'd never thought I'd live to see the day I said this about one of my own blood, but I'm saying it now. I curse the day you were ever born, Jenny Lynn. I wish your mama never brought you into this world. And since I can't bear to spend the rest of my life looking at you over a supper table, remembering, I'm telling you now, leave this cabin and these hills. Come morning, I want you gone from here. You hear me, girl? I don't want to see your face again. So long as I live and draw breath, so help me God. Your brother Perry's down in Nashville someplace. The Perry you were always different. Always two of a kind. Always hankering after something other than what you had. Go find him. Maybe he'll take you in. He started to turn away. Pa, please, she began, but she couldn't speak for her crying. The sobs heaving up from inside of her strangled her, blinded her. She's not leaving here, Jessie, came Mama's voice, even huskier than usual with grief. Jenny looked up. Through a veil of tears, she saw her mother standing at the bottom of the stoop, her face haggard. She hugged her shawl about her as she looked up to them both, as if it was the only thing holding her together. Perhaps it was. Her body appeared frail and somehow shrunken beneath her worn black mourning clothes, a bundle of bones in a black sack rattling about. Nancy, I mean it, Jessie. I buried one of my youngins this morning. I sure as hell ain't giving up another. It was one of the rare times Jenny ever heard her mama cuss. After what she's done, Jesse hissed. She's killed our son. Are you forgetting that so soon? Our boy's scarce cold in the grave, woman. I ain't forgetting nothing but what happened was an accident, no matter the circumstances. By who's telling? Jesse exploded. By that lying little. Nevertheless, I believe her. I also believe that in his own way, Daniel brought this on himself. God rest his soul. And that he and men like you and Aaron McKenzie and your fathers before you are all partly to blame for his death. Us? Yes. You overproud, stubborn, unforgiving men, Jesse. Men too full of pride, hate, bitterness, and vengeance to see the harm you're doing. Bible says you always reap what you sow. Every time you spoke in bitterness about the Mackenzies during Daniel's lifetime, you were sowing the seeds of his misery. The only crop comes from that is tragedy, Jesse. Daniel was trying to make you proud of him. He thought that he could do that by keeping the feud going and by killing Tyler McKenzie. I loved him dearly, but I wasn't blind to his faults. He was a hot-headed fool. He was your son, for God's sake, and Jenny Lynn's still my daughter, Nancy said. Daniel's death didn't change that. God knows, Jesse, no matter what, you can't turn love off and on like water with a pump handle. Leastways, I never could. Jenny stays. We'll ride out this storm together somehow as a family or not at all. Most wounds heal given time, and so please, Lord, will this one... And with that, she finally broke down. Her hand flew up to cover her mouth. She dashed past them, head down, running out the porch steps and into the cabin, though not before Jenny had seen the tears streaming down her face. Oh my God. Can y'all imagine that with professional actors? Sorry, I kind of ruined the moment with that, but like, imagine professional actors doing that scene. Oh my God. The Oscar is there. Everybody in Hollywood's scrambling for screenplays. Right here. It's written. Just read the book. Verbatim. Y'all, it goes to hell in a handbasket. Weeks later, we can't find Lissa. Y'all, my jaw dropped at this. Lissa shows up. It's Jenny and Cody Bibble's wedding day. Obviously, Jenny ain't gonna be there. Like, Jenny's like, no. That's done and gone. Lissa shows up at the doorstep in Jenny's wedding gown that Grandma Perry created for her, married to Cody Bibble. Liza married Cody Bibble. When I read this, my jaw dropped. I was like, because I thought she was going to show up married to Gus. I was like, oh, she married Gus. No, she's going full Kitty from Pride and Prejudice. She's marrying her sister's like beau. She married Cody Bibble. And of course the parents are like, Cody, what the fuck? Like Nancy kicks him out. She says, Nancy, she's been through so much. God bless this mama. Her and like Mama Ingalls from the Little House on the Prairie novels. You know that song Labor? Like, you know the song Labor? I forget who sings it, but it was on TikTok for a while where it was like, nymph and a virgin, nurse and a surgeon, just an appendage, lift to attend him, blah, 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 blah. That song, I think of these pioneer women. I think of Nancy Delaney. I think of Mama Ingalls. These women breaking their backs. And that's why I am so, like, I get irate with the whole trad wife thing. Like, oh. Anyways, Lissa shows up. She is married to Cody Bibble. Nancy is like, get the fuck out. I am so... And fucking Jesse, you know, Papa is just like, you wouldn't let me get Jenny out. And she's like, Jesse, I will turn you into a eunuch. Shut the fuck up. Like, this is Nancy's turn now. Nancy's like, no, I make the rules now. No, just Liza, whatever the fuck your name is, get the hell out of here. It's just, it's everything comes in a cycle. The good times, there will be bad, but then you always have to remember there will be good times returning, if that makes sense. So right now we're in the bad times. We had a good time learning to read and write and sleeping with a hot Appalachian man and all that good stuff. And corn shucking. Remember the corn shucking? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is. But whatever. I guess it's kind of like we shuck oysters here. Y'all shucking corn over there. Everybody's shucking something. we would shuck oysters on field trips. And I think it was the oyster people just getting free labor out of children. Because they'd be like, isn't this fun, kids? And like 32 fourth graders are shucking oysters. That's Louisiana field trips for you. It's a cycle. We had the good times, and now we're in the bad times. Daniel's dead. Liza, whatever, is gone with Cody Bibble. Mama and Daddy are probably never gonna make a baby again. Probably for the best. Jenny throws herself into making a quilt for Tyler, which I love because I like being productive at all times. I tried to, what does the kids call it, rot the other day, where you just sit on the couch. I was miserable. I hate being underproductive. Even I just want to go for a walk. Like I have to go for a walk. I have to listen to an audiobook. I'm always put my hands on something. And so much, I understand Jenny's process here of she is fighting her depression and she's going to make Tyler a quilt. Be productive. Put your anguish into art. She hears through the Mackenzies in town that Tyler has joined the Union and is off to fight in the war. God bless Jenny. She fucked up majorly because I feel, okay, never mind. Because I feel like Tyler would have went to the war anyways, even if they had ran off together. But now she don't know where he is. But that's not going to stop her because she is literally at her rock bottom. She has spent all like summer making this quilt and she wants to give it to Tyler. Hand deliver it. She wants to hand deliver this quilt that she has put every piece of fiber of her being into. Remember the poem at the beginning? So she wants to hand deliver it. I'm already crying. She's hand deliver it to Tyler. We're halfway through the book, y'all. This is now the war side of the book. And it says Nashville. So we're in Nashville and she's going to see her brother Perry. And her brother Perry and his wife own a boarding house, like a hotel or something. I don't know. And Jenny has a hard time getting in Nashville. She gets taken advantage of. People steal her money because she's a dumb little mountain girl. She don't know shit. People rob her blind. Like it's a country girl coming to the city. But she's tough and she manages to make it barely to the boarding house that Perry and his Irish wife, Polly, owns. And now Polly she's the only one there. Polly's the only one there because Perry joined the Confederacy. And so now Jenny's like, well, shit, I've got a brother in the Confederacy and the love of my life in the Union. So whoever wins or loses, this fucking sucks. And that's war for you, baby. That's war. No one wins. What did Guns N' Roses say? What's so civil about war anyways? It is March 1862, Nashville, 11 months after Fort Sumter fell and the war started. And Penelope Neri, she spends the rest of the book like dedicating half of the chapters to Civil War history. And it's very fascinating. Again, if you loved American Girl dolls, you would love these novels. They're great. And also, if you like reading with your like spouse, like I know a lot of men are into history. A lot of women are too. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. But I'm just saying, if you have a beau that is into history and not romance novels, this is a good gap for y'all to like read together. Just saying. Don't yell at me and say that that's sexist and like girls can like history too. I just said American Girl dolls. Don't yell at me. Perry joins the Confederacy. He joins the Confederacy as Polly finds out she's pregnant. Of course. So he doesn't even know his wife is pregnant. Now they have, I think, like 2 little kids already, but now she's pregnant. And she hasn't heard from him in 8 months. Can you imagine going through a whole pregnancy and not knowing if your husband is alive or dead? I mean, out running errands, Jenny she sees Tyler. Tyler's in Nashville. And he looks all handsome in his little Union uniform. And he's got Phantom, his horse. Phantom, his horse, has been throughout this whole novel. I haven't mentioned. I'm so sorry. I know we love the animal sidekick. I'm so sorry. I will mention Phantom from now on because Phantom is a war hero. Okay? But Phantom is his little gray horse. I say little. That horse is huge. It's a stallion. Phantom the stallion. Ew. And Phantom and Tyler are in Nashville. But she doesn't run up to Tyler and like, oh my God, Tyler. She has to like think about it first. But we also see a Colonel Willoughby Houghton, and he notices Jenny in a disgusting way. And so now we had the Tyler and Mackenzie's fight at the beginning of the novel. Now we have a new set of villains, which is going to be Colonel Willoughby Houghton and some other guys. Tyler enters a brothel. He is a soldier. And so Jenny sneaks in the brothel to go find him. Obviously, people are like, little girl, get your ass out of here. Her and Jezebel Jordan, who owns the brothel, remember old Dolly? And then Jezebel Jordan, who tried to help Tyler back in town get the locket back at the corn shucking and stuff. Well, Jezebel Jordan's she's a woman now. She's Dolly Parton in Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. She's a madam. She has her own brothel. And she's like, and she knows Jenny. They're from the same town. She's like, Jenny, little tiny Jenny, girl, get your ass out of here before somebody snatches you up and hurts you. Like, no, I'm not going to bring you to Tyler. You hurt him. He's my best friend. I'm not going to let you hurt him again. She's like, and Jez, we're going to call her Belle because she's called Belle throughout the novel. And Belle is like, Jenny, you destroyed him, and kind of chews her out as for her friend Tyler. And I love to see that Belle and Tyler are friends genuinely, because I don't think we've ever had like an opposite sex friendship in these novels, but I love to see it. You know, you want to see friendships of other genders and sexes. And so I love this, that Belle is genuinely fighting for Tyler and not in a lover's way. She's like, you fucking hurt my friend. Like, my bestie, Tyler? No. And so Jenny's like, you know what? You're right. I fucked up. He is better off fighting a war, not worrying. Because Belle has the good point of, she's like, if you fuck with him, he's going to die. This is war. They do not need love and distractions. Like, they need to fuck, drink, and get back out there. Like, do not do this to him. You will cloud his mind. He is busy. Wait till the war's over. And Jenny's like, you're right. I will get him killed if I fuck with him and bring back old memories. Jenny runs through the brothel. Like, she slips through the brothel and she's opening all the doors trying to find Tyler. She's opening all the doors, and you get a fun chapter of just every door she opens. It is a crazy sexual act. It is wild. And that happens in the movie that we're going to watch. You get to go through each little brothel door and just see all kinds of fun little times happening. She finally finds Tyler's room, and he is in the bathtub facing away from the door, which is crazy. And he's like, oh, Belle, are you back? Get in here, girl. Like, again, they have a very weird friendship where, like, they fuck all the time, but they're, like, genuinely friends. And so Jenny she starts washing his back and his hair, and she takes off her dress. Now, she has a little chemise under. She's not naked. She takes off her dress, and Tyler turns around, and he's like, what the fuck? And then, like, you know, end of scene. They fight really bad. It's some of the worst fights happen when you are like half naked, I feel like. Isn't that always the case? Like, it's like before or after sex, or like you're getting ready. Like, why does every crazy fight happen when you're like trying to get dressed, like pretty much half naked? And it's like, I cannot fight with you with my boobs out. Please give me 5 seconds to put a sweater on. But Tyler is a man, and he sees how he loves Jenny so much. He thinks she is the most beautiful little Appalachian dove he's ever laid eyes on, and he almost fucks her. They're real mad, but they missed each other. But they're still mad, and they love each other, but they don't. And it's a very, like, the whole time you're reading it, you're just like, oh my God. Like, I feel like I'm one of the little sex workers, like looking through the peephole, just like with the others, just like, oh, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? He leaves, and he says, do not find me. Fuck off. And we cut to Belle and that Colonel Houghton. And Colonel Houghton tells Belle, you will be a spy for me. Now, Belle, much like a lot of people, but the sex workers especially, did not necessarily pick sides. Now, I will say the Confederate side of the war was pretty much funded by sex workers. If it was not for the brothel owners and the madams of the South, those men wouldn't have had fucking buttons on their pants. And again, I bring up like the sexuality of the South and then our insane religion is always very interesting to me. But that being said, Belle does not pick sides because she's like, look, my girls will serve any soldier willing to pay and be nice. This pussy does not know war. Colonel Houghton's like, well, I need you to spy for the Union into the Confederacy. And Belle's like, absolutely not. I'm not putting my girls in like, no. And he's like, you will, or I will tear this place apart. He's like, I will destroy this building. I will destroy your girls. And no one cares because y'all are sex workers. No one gives a fuck if y'all come or go. He's like, I will destroy everything you've built for yourself. I will hurt every one of these girls. And so for her girls, Belle is like, all right. And Belle is Dolly Parton, obviously. She's Dolly Parton. That's who I've cast in this. And Belle's like, all right, I'll do it. And if that wasn't enough, then Colonel Houghton makes her sleep with him. I mean, she is a sex worker, so she has to do her job. And she's just like, ugh. And I love that Penelope Neri wrote the obvious, not the dark side, but just the grueling task it is to be a sex worker. You can't really say no to many of your customers. It's your job, especially during a war. And she's trying to keep a whole house fed. And so she's like, I think of Christina Hendricks in Mad Men when they had to make the Jaguar account. If you watch Mad Men, you know what I'm talking about. Like, and we have this chapter. The weather had grown worse since that afternoon. Icy rain was sweeping down the street, whipped into flurries by the wind. Jenny tore down the steps of the house and out into that miserable night, ignoring Oscar's startled shouts behind her. Let me cut in. Oscar, okay? Oscar is a slave. Okay, it's very complicated. Before I get into this heavy stuff, let me explain Oscar. Kind of like Tansy. The slaves in this novel, because I feel like Penelope couldn't necessarily write like a full-blown, like, you know, slave situation because she's a white woman from the, you know, England. But she does include them as you have to. Okay, so Oscar is a slave owned by Jezebel Jordan, but she is really good to him. And he is happy he bought her because he lost his family when he was on the auction block. It was him, his wife, and his daughter. And they were all separated. And he heard that his wife has died of fever and he does not know where his daughter is. And he said that he has been owned by, he goes through his history and he was owned by a lot of awful people. Like, no shit. And he said, but when Miss Jordan bought him and gave him actual authority in the house and like a job, like I think he handles like the horses and the door and stuff, and like, you know, didn't treat him like shit. Like, Oscar's a slave, but it's in a good situation. But at the same time, I'm kind of sitting here going, but is she paying you, Oscar? Is she paying you? At the end of the day, is Miss Belle paying you? I like to think she is. It's never said. It just says that she bought him off the auction block. Now, I don't know if she bought him and said, you're free to come and go. I don't know if she bought him and pays him. I don't know. You know, it's always a tricky situation when like a white lady writes about slavery. Because I'm just like, I know that he's happy, but is he paid, Penelope? Like, that's the big point. Because I feel, okay, sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but I just feel like in the South, we hear a lot of white people just be like, my great-granddaddy was real good. He was real good to, you know, his slaves. He fed them like a family. He kept them. And it's like, but he didn't pay them. So they didn't have a choice. Now, did they? Now, choice, that's a fun word. Choice. Anyways, I feel like we always hear that of just like, oh, they were fed, they were kept and cleaned, and it's like, but they weren't paid and they were separated from their families and they couldn't leave. So anyways, here I am, a white lady talking about it like I fucking know what I'm talking about. Please don't destroy me in the comments. I know I'm very ignorant. I'm just saying that's my opinion of it, of just, they're not fucking paid, so they can't be too fucking happy. Oscar is hollering at her to come back because it is stormy. Despite the loss of her cloak and bonnet to pieces, she was far too upset to notice either the cold or the damp soaking her thin little dress. Anxiously, she looked up and down the dirt street, but there was no sign of Tyler in either direction. In what little light was given off by a solitary gas lamp on the corner, she saw a few men huddled in small knots up and down the street, their collars pulled up and their hands buried deep in their pockets as they smoked and talked. But none of them were the man she sought. A sob caught in her throat. She'd failed. He'd gone, and Lord only knew when or how, or if she'd ever find him again. A soldier's life was a nomadic one at best. A tent pitched here called home for one night, battlefield's foul ditch, a man's bed for another. And there was always the strong possibility that he might be killed. If not in the next battle, then the one after that, or the one after that. A cold dread spread through her belly. For a soldier, there were so many ways to die. A saber thrust into vulnerable flesh from amidst the cannon smoke. A Manet ball screaming out of the chaos of war to find him and bury it itself in his body. A fragment of shrapnel flung by artillery fire that found its way into her beloved. And if none of those claimed him, there were always the old enemies of soldier everywhere in any war. The enemies whose names were starvation, exhaustion, disease, and who claimed more lives than bullets or swords combined. In this storm, she does see Tyler, though. She does see Tyler. The stallion skidded sideways, whinnying shrilly, frightened by her sudden appearance, the sudden white flash of her skirts. Its wicked hooves only barely missed her face, even as its great size and weight dragged her off her feet momentarily. "You little fool, what in the hell are you doing? Looking to get yourself killed?" Tyler roared. He mustered all his strength to haul backward on the reins before his horse could trample the girl. "Please don't go, Tyler," she cried, still clinging to his mount's bridle for grim death. Rain, or was it tears, streamed down her ashen face as she looked up to him. "We can't end like this. We just can't. I love you, and I can't bear it." Yet his face remained stern beneath the streaming brim of his cap. His eyes held no hint of softening as he fought to get the stallion under control. "Go home, Jenny," he shouted above the pelting rain and the whistle of wind. "Go back to Mockingbird and don't try to find me again. What's done is done. It's better this way." With that, he spurred Phantom on. The cheek strap was yanked roughly from her hand as the gray took off like a silver bullet, its hooves dashing splatters of mud in her face. "Tyler," she wailed, heedless of the second horse at her back, not caring if her dignity or her life would be lost beneath its hooves, her anguish so great. "Come back." "You'd best head on home, Miss Jenny," Brody urged as he rode up alongside her. "Streets ain't safe for a little girl this time of night." "Home? I have none." She spoke with such grief and anguish and bitterness, Brody was moved to pity. Delaney or not, she was a sorry sight, and he was tender-hearted by nature. Reining in his sturdy, dappled gray gelding, he frowned. "Oh, now, that ain't no way to take on, ma'am. Surely you do. Everyone's got a home someplace." She lifted haunting violet eyes to his. "You're wrong, sir," she said sadly. "Home is where the heart is, don't you see? And without Tyler, my heart's broken into two." I'm crying. God damn it. I can't keep it together. Y'all, again, this is a movie. Imagine the storm, and she's in her little thin little white dress, and her little corn silk hair is just whipping around her face, and he's on this horse, and he's saying, "Go home, Jenny." And she's like, "I can't." And she's like, "Home is where the heart is, and I ain't got a home without you, Tyler." Like, oh. Ugh. And of course, during all this, fucking Colonel Halton, he's like, "Who is that beautiful little girl is yelling at?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Tyler McKenzie. He's in your army." And he's like, "Uh-huh. I'm going to keep my eye on that little Tyler McKenzie." I have in my notes, it says here, I am so emotional at this point. I am. Because this is when I just start crying in every chapter. Because it's so much. We have this much left. Okay. Polly gives birth to twins. And it says this. In her husband's absence, she named the dark-haired infants Maureen Bridget and Daniel Shea. The fragile little girl in memory of her sister who succumbed to yellow fever at the age of 7, and to the baby boy after the brother-in-law she'd never met. And I was crying because I was like, these babies don't know their daddy. He don't even know they exist. And his mama named the daughter after her dead daughter who died at 7. And then she named the other one Daniel for Jenny and Perry. I was crying. I know. Y'all are saying, like, Montana, you cried the whole goddamn novel. I did. I cried the whole novel. Jenny loves taking care of the twins. She's a healer. She's very empathetic. She loves taking care of those babies. And Polly is like, you've got to stop chasing this Tyler. You've got to stop chasing this Tyler. You deserve to be married up with babies of your own. Like, you're going to waste away chasing this Tyler. You deserve. There are other. She's an Irish lass, and she's just like, there are other men in the sea. Okay? Get out there. And she's facing a lot of pressure to pick a side, her and Polly. Like, a lot of women are, because they've got sons, fathers, brothers, friends. They've got people in this war. And the women are just like, I don't win either way. Look at Jenny. Tyler's in the Union. Perry's in the Confederacy. She's like, I don't really care who wins or loses, because it's not like I get fucked either way. Penelope Neri does write about slave auctions and things. And I if she's bold enough to write it, I want to be bold enough to read it, because I don't want to admit uncomfortable things from history on this channel. You know, I'm not going to talk about necessarily sexual assault and things, but I mean, this isn't like, there's no abuse or anything, but let me just read it and we'll talk about it. Another further indication of the changes going on, there were signs posted outside the livery and everywhere else in town urgently requesting the citizens of Nashville to sell their horses to the cavalry for top dollar, while meanwhile at the slave block on Market Street just the day before, the bidding had been very poor despite the low starting prices asked by the slave broker. The sight of a black family, I'm going to cry, a mother, a father, a youth of about 14, and 2 small girls, forlornly standing there, their terror and anguish at the likely prospect of being separated filling their eyes, had torn at her heart and brought tears to her own eyes. Pity and compassion had quickly been replaced by anger at the injustice, the inhumanity of the institution of slavery. The 5, if they indeed sold at all, would be torn from each other's arms, each destined to toil for a different master in uncertain circumstances, for while horse flesh was clearly at a premium right now, human flesh was not. No planner in his right mind would take all 5 of them on at such a time and risk having too many bellies to fill with food. Sadly, the little family was destined to be split up. Now, I'm not going to go into it like I was earlier. We're not going to sit here and pick apart slavery. I just think you got to write about it. If you're going to be bold enough to write about the Civil War, you have to write all of it. Houghton is at the boarding house, and he tries to rape Jenny. And he gets very close. I won't go too in details. Luckily, our girl Jenny Delaney grabs a knife, stabs him in the face. Leaves him with a scar on his face that now I guess he has to explain. How did you get that scar, sir? But I fucking hate this. She doesn't tell Polly because she doesn't want Polly to worry. Girl, you have a rapist in your house. Tell her so that at least she can be like, keep you safe, keep herself safe. Like, y'all are women. She's like, I don't want to worry Polly. I won't tell. I can't worry her. It's fine. I just couldn't find something. I hate that. Lots of Civil War history in this next chapter. We cut to Tyler. We have a lot of chapters of Tyler on the battlefield. Again, we give good chapter breaks for like Tyler and Jenny during the Civil War. Tyler finds his way into a barn where he finds 2 Confederate soldiers. One is mortally wounded and one is very wounded. One being Perry. Perry is sitting there with a youth, because a lot of these soldiers were fucking kids. He is sitting there with a youth who is dying. And he says, I would kill, like, and Tyler's like, he's dying. And Perry says, I know, but I don't have any more bullets in my gun. What will it be, Mackenzie? What will it be? Do you want to kill me because of a feud, of a war? You want to kill us both? What do you want to do? I know you love my sister. And they have this like camaraderie moment of, again, I guess this is their brotherhood moment of past the war, of like these men, they don't have any ties in this war necessarily. They're just pawns. And so I guess they have this bigger moment of brotherhood, of these are just two mountain boys being thrust at each other. They literally grew up in the same hills, thrust at each other because of bigger things in the government. And so they have their brotherhood moment. And Tyler gives his gun to Perry to put the other soldier out of his misery. And Perry's like, you're really trusting me to not shoot you. And Tyler's like, I am. And so they kind of have a truce. Perry gives the gun back, and Tyler's like, all right, you know. Jenny is dressed like a man to go find Tyler, which is smart for a bit. But Jenny is also a very young girl who's never experienced any of this stuff. And it kind of goes through a few chapters of her traveling through trying to find this Union camp. And she runs into deserters of the Confederate Army, soldiers that left. And I don't want to not tell y'all in case y'all read this, but she has a mule. Don't worry, this mule's only been here for a few chapters, but they just find her mule tied up and she's hiding, and they kill her mule, and it's not a fun scene. But I just want to like let y'all know in case y'all read it, like that does happen. But anyways, Jenny's hiding. Of course, they find her, and she is nearly sexually assaulted to death. Like, I mean, they are just pulling at her like animals. But one man is shot through the head. Who shoots him? Jezebel Jordan. Jezebel Jordan shows up, and she got her own gun. She pops that man on the head, and she's like, I will shoot every fucking one of y'all if y'all don't fucking find something better to do. Get out of here. And they're like, scamper off. Jenny and Belle now form a sisterhood. Belle tells her of her spine. She's like, I don't want to do it, but I can't put my girls in danger. She's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm a whore. Like, I don't really have a lot of, connections to kind of like get out of this. And Jenny sees Belle through a different light. She's like, I know now, like, why Tyler trusts you with everything, why he's best friends with you. And Belle lets Jenny in on Tyler's mommy issues. Tyler's mama died when he was about 14 and kind of left him with his daddy, who was like depressed, and a lot of little brothers to take care of. And so Tyler has never forgiven his mother for dying and leaving him. He has never processed that guilt. And Belle is just like, he does not trust women. He does not fully. She's like, don't you think he would have been with me by now, girl? Like, he does not trust us. He will not allow himself to trust a woman full tilt. You were the closest thing I've ever seen him like love and give everything for. And you threw it all away, Jenny. You threw away something none of us have seen out of Tyler. And Jenny's like, I know. I'm trying to make it better. Everybody keeps telling me I fucked up. I know. I got it. They make it to literal General Ulysses Grant's camp. Like, Penelope Neri loves throwing in like the biggest players in these historical novels. They make it to literally, and Belle's like, I'm gonna go talk to Ulysses over here. Jenny, go find your man. Like, I love that Belle's like, I'll just go to the head honcho of the Civil War. He'll sort this out. And Jenny finds Tyler in the infirmary at camp. And we get a lot of graphic descriptions of, if you can imagine PTSD from a veteran now or a Vietnam veteran that we've experienced, imagine the PTSD from someone who saw their friend get hit with a fucking cannonball and like their whole head lopped off. Imagine not having modern medicine and technology to ease pain and death. Like, these men were just hanging on by bit, just in pain and hanging on, and like the doctors just look like butchers, because that's essentially what they were doing. They're just cutting limbs off. No antiseptic, no pain meds, nothing. And so she's in the infirmary. There's men rolling around. They're all screaming for their mamas. They're all screaming for their mamas. These grown men. One man grabs her and says, "Mama, please don't leave me. Please, I'll promise I'll stay. I'll be a good boy." And Jenny's crying. She's like, "I'm not your mama." Like, oh, it turns your gut. It turns your gut. And she finds Tyler, and he is over little Brody's bed. Remember his little brother Brody that went to the war with him, who told Jenny, like, Tyler's not that bad. He loves you. Like, it'll be okay. And he is over Brody's bed. And Brody has lost his arm, and they don't know if he will make it. And Tyler takes his pain of his brother maybe or maybe not making it. He takes his PTSD, honestly, because he screams about this war. He screams about, what the fuck are you doing? You think you can just come here? Like, everybody's dying, Jenny. We're all dying. And you think I'm worried about you? You think I'm worried about you right now? Like, and coming home to you? I'm worried about coming home at all. Because guess what? Brody might not. And as he is sitting there berating her in front of like a whole camp of men, saying like, you're just some stupid little girl, and you think this is like, I'm just over here playing camp and stuff, and like these people are dying, and you and all those Nashville people, y'all have no idea what's going on the front lines. And Jenny, luckily, I love this, she bucks up and she's like, I've been through hell too. Okay, this hadn't been a walk through the fucking park. I have been nearly sexually assaulted by every man that has come across me. I have had to cross-dress. I have been robbed. I have been beaten. Do not tell me that I have not been through hell to get to you. And so they're both just kind of sitting there like seething at each other with a bunch of screaming, dying men around them. And so Jenny has that goddamn quilt. She has done this whole journey to give Tyler this quilt. And she gives it to another soldier to give to Tyler or something. I forget exactly the details, but Tyler will get the quilt. And she's just like, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. I've been through hell. I am not going to be screamed at. Once again, told I'm a fucking little idiot and I just don't know nothing. I never left town. I left town. I have been through the towns. I am towned up. Tyler, shut up. And so Belle's like, how'd it go? And Jenny asks Belle to teach her to shoot. She says, teach me to shoot that gun. I want to learn. You promised to teach me to shoot, remember? I surely do. And? Well, I'm itching to get started. Why, you planning on going hunting, Jenny Lynn? Yep, I reckon I am, sort of, but not for bears or possums. What else is there? Belle asked, with a puzzled shrug of her shoulders. Men, Jenny crowed with enormous relish and a wicked sparkle in her eye. Today's the day dumb old Jenny Lynn Delaney quit straddling the fence and took sides. Today's the day of reckoning, when she finally got smart and decided she ain't to be some little hillbilly gal men folk can walk over. Old Snake Eyes Halton and them lowlifes like that stinking Clancy better watch out from here on out, 'cause I've seen the light and I mean business. Surely that list don't include Tyler, hun? Belle challenged. She clearly expected a denial. Especially him, Jenny declared bloodthirstily. And at that moment, with the hurt of his rejection so raw and smarting, she meant it. Jenny is done. I feel you, Jenny. Like, I'm done. Fuck. Teach me to shoot. I'm going to shoot them all. Colonel Halton sends Tyler pretty much on a death mission. He's like, I want Jenny. I hate Jenny because she stabbed me in the face with a knife. Send Tyler on the toughest. And I feel like if I was a history buff, I would know this battle and I would know these people because they feel important. Penelope Neri puts a lot of time and effort into explaining it. I just don't know it. So it sounds like he's a pretty key, like he's going on like a really crazy mission for the Civil War that I don't know. Jenny is back at Polly's. Perry met his children. Perry, I guess, got a day of leave and he met his babies and he met Polly. Can you imagine Polly? She went through a whole pregnancy, doesn't know of her husband, and he just shows up. She's like, so here's your babies. I can't get a letter? Nothing? And Belle is off again on another mission. Belle's got her own side story. Again, I love Jezebel Jordan. Where is that miniseries? She is off on another mission and she's excited because she's got her beau. Or she's got a little Creole man that she's been sweet on. And she's very excited to get to him. This is the part where I cried at work. And y'all might not cry. Y'all might be like, it's cute. But like, okay, Montana. But I cried. because this book's exhausting. There was only the quilt, nothing more. Holding it between his hands, he frowned, wondering why she'd chosen to give him a quilt, of all things. And this is Tyler, obviously. He got the quilt. At once, his eyes were drawn to the center of the colorful patchwork coverlet, to a square far larger and more elaborately worked than all the rest. It had been cut from lavender cloth, sprigged all over with tiny violets that seemed vaguely familiar, he fancied, pursing his lips. In the center of the patch had been a tree, a sorrel or a sourwood, as it was called in the mountains, its boughs beautifully embroidered with sprays of tiny bells. And at the tree soared a dove, its wings joyously outward spread, cut from white linen. His frown deepened. He could figure out why she'd chosen a square with a sourwood tree for the heart of her quilt, but the significance of the dove on the wing escaped him. He stared at it long and hard, and then some long-forgotten elusive memory began to surface. For several moments it worried him like a hound pup with a bone, and then, like a bolt from the blue, he remembered. The frustration this damn war had grown in him like a cancer eased some, allowing him a moment's respite from soldiering and fighting to feel something tender, something from a time of innocence and peace he thought he'd lost forever. Tears smarted like fire behind his eyes, a tightness constricted in his throat. Jenny, I remember. He'd have been about 15, maybe 16, perched in an old tree with boughs hung low over a deer trail while he waited for Dolly, Belle, the first time he'd seen her. A gap-toothed, freckle-faced gal that come tripping down that path, her grubby hands cradling a little baby dove. Leave it be, it's dead, he'd told her with the callousness of youth. No, it can't be dead, I won't let it be, she protested. I reckon the good Lord decides these things, not us. It must have fallen out of its nest. I hate it. Why'd it have to climb out of there and fall? Why couldn't it stay put? Why? It was time, I reckon. Time for it to fly. Time for it to leave its nest. All critters have to. Sometime. Even people critters like us. Well, I ain't leaving my nest. You will, someday. You'll leave home. Everyone does. And you won't break your skinny old neck or anything. You'll just fly. I'm getting choked. And there it was, that little white cloth dove, just soaring for all it was worth. Unaware that Brody had come to and was watching him, Tyler grew very still. Jenny was that dove. That was why she'd sewn this quilt and why she risked her life to bring it to him. It had been her way of proving to him that she was ready to leave the nest at last, ready to fly like the dove, ready to forsake all the others and go with him because she loved him. He swallowed. His sapphire eyes had grown moist. Remembering that day and the dove had conjured up a moment of sweet youth and innocence he'd clean forgotten till then. It surely brought back memories. That quilt. Oh, Lord, what was that? Could she have... A tremor run through his large hands as he clumsily unfolded the heavy quilt and again shook out its full size. He stared at each square in turn, his suspicions confirmed. There, as he'd half expected, pieced and quilted together with stitches as fine as gossamer, strands of spiderwebs, were patches of blue, gray, white checkered cloth. Patches cut from his Sunday best court and shirt she'd stolen from him the night he and his brothers had gone skinny dipping in the Delaney's swimming hole. A grin had begun to tug at his corners of his mouth, lifting the deeply etched lines of strain and exhaustion and worry there, returning the hint of a sparkle to wearied eyes. Why, glory Betsy, there were patches of his brother Billy's red shirt too. And there, Jay's white one and Brody's. Here, a solitary scrap of blue and white gingham he'd almost certain she'd been wearing the first day they met as young'uns all those years ago. Damn if that infernal woman hadn't sewn up every memory in a square. And what was it she'd almost told him about her feelings for quilts? Why, he almost could hear the husky sweet quality of her voice as she murmured, Why, I reckon giving someone a quilt you've made with your own two hands is about the lovingest thing a woman can do. It's the closest thing to wrapping them in your arms when you ain't there to hold 'em, I reckon. Jenny, he thought with a bittersweet longing. What a damn fool I've been. What I'd give right now to have a tender farewell to remember you by. A soft plead, a stay, a kiss, a tear of loss. He craved some sweet, unsullied memory of her and to carry in his heart. one by which to kindle hope in his darkest, loneliest hours. But he had nothing except her last reproachful look, the pain in her violet eyes to fill his thoughts, and no one but himself to blame for it. Burrowing deep within the folds of his slicker, cape, uniform jacket, and woolen union suit to his chest, he drew the locket from the place it hung since the day he'd found it, closest to his heart. Removing his gauntlet, he fumbled with numb fingers to pry open the lid. At last he succeeded, and the silvery metal tinkled on the sill. Frigid air. Forget me not, forget me not. Oh, say that you'll forget me not. I remember, Jenny. Angrily, he realized that his cheeks were wet with tears that soon grew icy in the biting wind. He hurriedly snapped the locket shut and returned it to its place against the warmth of his chest. The silver was icy. Half-minded to hurl it from him in bitterness after he'd left Mockingbird, he decided to keep the locket instead. He told himself then that it would serve as a reminder that Jenny had not loved him enough to forsake all, including her family, to go away with him, of how when it came down in a pinch, she'd let him down, and badly, that she'd preferred to take the easy way out and stay, rather than turn her back on the past and follow him, the man she'd given herself to, sworn she loved, to the ends of the earth. He told himself all that over again. After all, she'd proven nothing special, nothing different, just another pretty face. All women were fickle, weak-willed creatures who bent like willows when adversity's winds blew strong, instead of standing tall and strong as the oaks all about him. But all that had changed the moment he'd looked up and see her reflected in Belle's mirror, looking frightened, ready to bolt, yet standing her ground, looking lovelier than any angel as she told him she'd left the mountains to find him, to tell him she'd been wrong, that she loved him. And now the locket only served to remind him that he'd made a mistake, that, as she said, forgiveness was also a part of love. Ah! Oh, I'm going to have to edit out me crying. I'm going to have to edit this out. Okay, I'm back. Again, there's not a screenplay that has been written that is that moving. I mean, no words. Perfection. A quilt made of every memory from this thing. We turned back to the beginning of the novel with the dove, and that the dove, Jenny was little and saying the dove shouldn't have left her nest. And then Jenny has left the nest, and now the locket, like, oh my God, Grandma Perry, you mastermind. I'm gonna cry again. God damn it. Okay, get it together, Montana. We're on the home stretch, y'all. Tyler realizes he loves Jenny. He's got to go find her. We're going. Tyler he is given the rank of captain, and he is given that suicide mission essentially, but he gets to form his own mounted patrol called the Mackenzie's Mounted, right? I don't know. Anyways, they find rebels torturing a black man. It is written that this man he is being hung by his hands in a tree, and they have a fire under his feet, but he does not yell, and he just closes his eyes in silence because he will not give them the benefits of that. Obviously, Tyler kills all the rebels, and they rescue this man, and this man's name is his English name is Nathan, but his real name is Gibolo. And Jib joins kind of Tyler's mounted because he's like, I grew up around horses. That's pretty much what my slave job was. Like, give me a horse, I'll be right there with you. And so Tyler's like, okay, but I love this. The Union does not want the black man riding with them. They're kind of like, are you sure? And Tyler's like, you know what? For some God-fearing Christians, y'all are real fucking racist. Like, Tyler's like, this is a war. Really? We're literally fighting against slavery, and y'all are like still kind of like, well, I don't know if we need like the black guy in the group. Like, we need every man that is willing to fight. Shut the fuck up. And he like grabs Jib's hand, and he's like, welcome to the team, brother. Tyler's great. Tyler and Jenny both. Like, we finally have another like couple that we can just be like, love them both. But I just really like that Penelope and Neri had the wherewithal to show like the Union was not like, yay, black people. Like, they were still racist as fuck. Belle's Creole lover is a spy. It is a spy versus spy situation. She's a spy. He's a spy spying on her. And she hears him talking about his spyness and he's, blackmailing. Her heart's broken. She really loved this man. She really liked this man. It's hard for a sex worker to like fall in love and all that stuff. And like, she was like finally a man that treated me nice, that genuinely loved me. And he wants to murder me. Like, he's like calling me a whore and stuff. She has to warn Tyler because they're going to ambush Tyler at that suicide mission. It's a trap. It's a trap. She's got to warn Tyler. But as she's fleeing to tell Tyler, her Creole lover shoots her in the back. Shoots her in the back. And Oscar's there with her. And they go find a lone black family to like let them in to help her and Oscar as she's bleeding out. It did kind of make me laugh though, because the dad of the family, like Oscar's like, we need help. And he's like, I'm not helping no little white lady. Like, nope. Like closes the door. And the mom's just like, that's not very Christian of you. Let's help them. Jenny goes to see a dying Belle. Belle is bleeding out at the brothel. She's at home. And I cried again because Belle tells Jenny what happened. She's like, my Creole lover is a spy. He is trying to ambush Tyler. You have to go save Tyler. And she doesn't say this verbatim because I was crying and I didn't write it down. But if you will, imagine a Dolly Parton in bed. She's dying. She's very pale, gone. And then you got little Carrie, Jenny at her bedside. And it's all the whores are there with her. It's probably the flashiest dying scene. And Tansy's there. And Tansy's crying. And Oscar's crying. And it's like this little found family of like hillbillies and ex-slaves and sex workers. And it's this little found family in this house. And they're all watching their mama die. And little Dolly Parton's sitting there. And she hands Jenny her gun. Us mountain girls stick together. Give 'em hell, Jenny. And Jenny takes the gun and she's like, I will. And her and Oscar mount up and it's like in Tombstone. There's a reckoning coming, y'all. There's a reckoning. Tyler has been trying to find Jenny and he reunites with Brody. And Brody's doing fine. He don't have an arm, but he still gets girls and he still can shoot. He can still ride. He's still a man. Brody's fine. Brody's adorable. And Tyler and Brody hear of Belle's funeral. And now remember, Tyler was best friend. That's his best friend. And he's like, what? And he goes, and Peaches, there's a sex worker called Peaches, and I love her too, because she's given Mae West, she's given Kathy Bates as Molly Brown in Titanic. She's a big busty gal. She's wearing literal like morning clothes with feathers and silk. Like even morning, she's still got to be like an icon. And Peaches tells them the details of like Jenny and Oscar. They are gone to find you. Like, again, before cell phones, it was chaos. It was chaos. Peaches is just like, honey, you better start going because she's trying to save your ass. Go. And Tyler and Brody are like, shit. And it's a race against the clock. And Jenny and Oscar go up to a plantation house. And Jenny is like, that is the most beautiful little house I've ever seen. And it's just like, oh, it's beautiful. That's the biggest house. And Oscar schools her. And he says, the house, he said darkly, was like the rosy red skin of an apple you just couldn't wait to bite into. Only when you did, you discovered the fruit was riddled with worms. Beauty, he informed her gravely, sternly, ain't no good to no one. Not when it's the front hide a whole mess of ugliness like slavery. And he gets off foot and he shows her the slaves' quarters behind the plantation. And Jenny's like, again, schooled immediately. As she's walking around this plantation, the ambush happens and she is caught right in the middle. Two sides are converging and she's like, oh fuck. And she literally runs into the plantation house and that's where the rebels are. That's where the Confederacy is. She literally runs right into the rebels' arms. General Houghton, I forgot how, y'all. It don't matter. He's a piece of shit. He was like arrested for something, but he gets out on broad daylight. And because he was arrested in the South and he was arrested because he was a traitor. He was in the Union, but he was selling secrets to the Confederacy and he was arrested. But then he gets out in broad daylight in a Confederate favored town. And so none of the people stop him and they cheer him on as he runs away. We find out, remember little Tansy? Oscar's her dad. Remember he said he lost his daughter? Oscar's Tansy's dad. And so Jib and Oscar and Tansy link up to help fight these it's not even like a fucking Confederacy thing. It's like just trying to get Jenny and Tyler and everybody like to safety. Creole lover and Colonel Halton capture Jenny. And they say, you will hang for selling secrets, for spying. And Jenny's like, they don't hang women. And Halton says, there's a first time for everything, my dear. And so Jenny is locked up in prison, essentially, and she has a hanging. She has a hanging date. Now, we go back to Halton in this plantation, and I forgot how, but Tansy sneaks in there disguised as a slave. And she's sitting there, and she spills coffee on Halton. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he gets up, and he's just tongue lashing her. And she's like, I can get that out, just really laying it on thick with that, you know what I'm talking about, that antebellum South kind of talk, laying it on thick. And then she goes in the back, and her and Oscar and Jib and some other women, they got that jacket, and they are going to use it. Okay, so they got the Confederate jacket. Right. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to get this all in my head straight because it happens so quick. They get the Confederate jacket, and I forgot what they do with it. I think they give it to, no, and they get the jacket, and they're excited. They needed the jacket, and Tansy got it because she's fucking smart like that, and she's brave as shit, too, for spilling coffee on a white man. Oh, my God. And then we cut to the Confederate camp around that plantation, and a preacher shows up, and he's hooting and hollering about the sinning, and you got to stop laying with these women. You got to stop. And all this bullshit. And as he's doing this, the Creole guy and Colonel Halton are kind of like, is that Tyler McKenzie? And Halton's like, I bet that's Tyler McKenzie. Go get him. And the Creole guy's like, no, I've seen Tyler. That's not Tyler. And Halton's like, no, it looks just like him. They can't decide who it is. And as they are trying to decide who it is, a man grabs the preacher to stop him because he's like, preacher, shut up. And as he does, the preacher's arm falls off. And the man passes out. He's like, oh my God, his arm fell off. And he passes out. And Brody fucking runs. Because it's Brody. Of course, little Brody would be like, let me be the preacher. Let me be the preacher. Let me do it. And so Brody runs. And he later on is just like, that was a really good arm. You know how long it's going to take me to get a whittled arm like that? But anyways, Brody was distracting the Confederate camp and Halton. And that's why they couldn't decide if it was Tyler, because he's his brother. He looks just like him, but not really. And so Brody is running. Tyler got Jenny out of jail. They sprung her out. Him and Oscar and Jib and Tansy, it's all a team effort to get Jenny out of Confederate jail. They are riding away. This was a small detail, and I'll just rush it right here. There was a Captain Morgan in this novel that Tyler fought against in a battle and took his horse, and his horse was infamous, and his horse was his favorite thing in the world, and Tyler took his horse, and Captain Morgan runs into Tyler again and Jenny as they are fleeing, and he's like, it's a shame I don't have my horse. And Tyler's like, I will give you this fucking horse if you let us go and let us have an hour, advance start. And Captain Morgan's like, I like horses more than war. Okay. He loves that horse. And he's like, okay, that's his baby. Horse people get it. You would not give a shit about war if your horse was on the line. And so Captain Morgan gets his little horse back, and he's so happy. His name is Bess. That's the horse's name, Black Bess. And so Tyler and Jenny get away. Obviously, Jib, Oscar, and Tansy are like, we're done here. We're out. We are going to freedom. We are getting as far away as this mess as possible. And so they ride out. And Tyler and Jenny have a reunion. They finally get back together physically. We have another Patreon plug of a lot of tension, a lot of emotions. I'm going to be honest with y'all. They fuck the dog shit out of each other. Wouldn't you? And I'm going to read y'all the last few paragraphs of this chapter, but we still have an epilogue. So do not run away. Okay? In the drowsy afterglow, their desires slaked, their love reaffirmed, Tyler lifted Grandma Perry's silver chain from around his throat and slipped it over Jenny's head. The oval locket hung between her breasts, gleaming with a mellow patina in the murky light spilled from the fire beyond the tent opening. "Come morning, Brody's promised to take you home for me, sweet thing," he told her. "To Nashville, you mean?" Mockingbird. "No," she wailed, tensing in her arms. "Yes," he insisted sternly. "I want you to take this locket with you where it belongs. And promise me you'll stay in the Smokies with your kinfolks where you'll be safe till I come for you." "But what about you?" "Oh, Tyler, I'm so scared. I don't want us to be apart again. What if something should happen? Please say you'll come with us." Her violet eyes added a plea that could have melted stone. But Tyler shook his head ruefully. "I can't." "For me?" "Not even for you, darling. I swore an oath to fight for my country and the Union, Jenny. I have to see it through to the end, whenever that may be." "You're crazy. You sound like Perry," she accused. "Maybe so. But I couldn't live with myself if I deserted. Don't you see, sweet thing? I'd be less of a man. Less than the man you love if I gave up." His expression softened. "Jenny, believe me, there's nothing short of dying that'll keep me from coming to you," he vowed huskily, and she knew by his tone that he meant what he said, and that there'd be no persuading him. "No, honey. Nothing and no one's gonna keep us apart once this damn war's over. I'll come home. I'll build us the biggest log cabin you've ever seen, with a cozy old corded bed with posts of peeled white oak. And I'll sew us the deepest goose down pallets, warmest down-filled quilts," she added, playing the game, although she was blinking back tears. Her heart was breaking with the thought of being parted from him again, for however short a time. "And I'll make love to you all day and all night and all day, till you cry uncle," he threatened wickedly. "You won't have long to wait then, mister, 'cause I'll never cry uncle. Never," she vowed hotly. "Oh, Ty, hold me tight. Hold me like you'll never let me go. I can't bear to think of living without you for another moment." She slipped down his body until her cheek was cradled against his chest. His arms were curled around her, lightly stroking the delicate knobs of her spine, caressing her tousled hair. His body was warm against her skin. His scent filled her nostrils. The weight of his arms encircling her was a welcome burden she would have willingly carried for a lifetime. She caressed the golden hair that lightly furred his chest, tracing a path down his hard, flat belly with her fingernail. The throb of his heart beneath her ear was a sweet drumbeat that echoed the thrumming of her own heart. "Each minute we're apart will seem like a lifetime. Each day will be eternity," she whispered, tasting the own salt tears on her tongue. "I know it," he agreed heavily, "but we'll get through it. Somehow, one day at a time. Hell, sweet thing, we must," he added, tilting her face up to his. His sapphire eyes were dark with love as he vowed, "When I come marching home, I'll make you my bride, Jenny Lynn." "I'll be waiting, darling. Even if it takes forever, I'll still be waiting for you." And that's technically the end of this novel. Okay, let's get through the epilogue and then we can cry. The epilogue is, the war is over. The feud is over. Not only does Tyler show up to Jesse Delaney's cabin, Perry shows up too. Remember, he forsaken Perry because Perry went off to Nashville. And they're like, "Paul, future Paul-in-law, we got to do something about this. This is ridiculous." And these three men have a talk and they come to a truce. And they even laugh, you know. Tyler's like, "We could have a good time as a big family. We're fighting over some bullshit from 3 generations ago. Like, let it be." And Perry's like, "Tyler saved my life in the war. We are bonded now more than ever. Just let it be." And again, it reminds me of Jenny saying, remember, forgiveness, say it with me now, forgiveness is a part of love. Forgiveness is a part of love. Let that be our mantra. I'm going to read the last paragraph of the epilogue. Okay, sorry. The moon rose high and full in a deep amethyst sky as he rode down the twisted mountain track. It spilled silvery light between the new leaves, painting each blade of grass and each bead of dew blue-white. The air was cool and still, filled with the sense of new life in the spring season. Looking back over his shoulder, he saw Tyler and Jenny standing on the sourwood ridge silhouetted by the moonlight. He grinned, for they were kissing. Yes, sir, it was a dandy night for sparking, Perry thought, whistling as he went. Forget me not, forget me not. Sure, that was a pretty tune, but it had the damnedest words he'd ever heard, Grandma Perry's favorite or not. As his clear, pure notes carried down the valley, the old, empty split oak rocker on the Delaney's dog trot tilted gently back and forth. That's the end of this novel. Oh my God. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We have to sit with this. We have to sit with this. This story, this knowledge. And this was a recap. Imagine if you read it. I'm begging y'all to read it. Like, what are we going to do now? Knowing this. No one knows this story. Like, I'm laughing to keep from crying. Oh, my flower fell. I'm a mess. I'm a fucking mess. Grandma Perry. Okay. What did we think? What did you think? Was it a good novel? I think it's our best one. I think it's our best one. I hope I did it justice. Y'all might be like, Montana, you're really crying over like fucking nothing. But like, I do the best I can. Because like, I know y'all are on a time crunch. I don't know next month's book. This one took so much out of me. I don't know. I'll post it later. I know I usually give y'all a preview, but I don't fucking know. I don't know. I might do like a small kids novel. I don't know. I loved this book. It was full. It was something for everybody. It was a romance that felt like we felt it before. You have fucked up. You have fucked up with somebody. You have been Jenny in a thunderstorm screaming, come back. Please. I fucked up. I have traveled down this mountain for you. You have been Tyler holding a memento of a loved one going, I fucked up. Like they both fucked up. You've been maybe Nancy, who's got these goddamn kids going everywhere and like so much drama, and she's just trying to keep it together in her little mountain home. Like, and we all have a Daniel. We all know a Daniel who's just trying to people please, and he ends up on like drugs or alcohol. Little Brody, he lost his arm. Why is it always the sweetest ones that get hurt? I mean, we have great horses in this novel. The screenplay, just copy from the book, just verbatim. You have, again, these amazing, like, just this found family, again, of these hillbillies and these ex-slaves and these sex workers, and, like, they're the scums of society, you know, of Nashville and everything, but they're affected by the war more than anybody. You know, like we could just discuss this to nauseam, but I've already taken so much of your time. Y'all, I know I take a month, but I try to read these novels and like write and like film and stuff. Like I'm a big reader, and I wouldn't have time to read the books that I want to. Like, I want to read these novels, but you know what I mean? I wouldn't have the time to read my Dawn May novels if I was reading and making a video like every week, God forbid, every 2 weeks. Like, I've got a life. So I don't know what next month's is going to be, but if you're on the Patreon, next week we will read all of those steamy scenes. And like I said, she goes on for pages. Penelope, Neri, I want to know what her sex life is like. It sounds decadent because she knows how to write it. And then the next week we're going to be doing the Dolly Parton Burt Reynolds movie. And then next week we'll be doing a Sunday story. I haven't found one yet. That is Forever in His Arms, the best novel ever read. The best novel ever written. No, I'm kidding. But it's definitely up there. Y'all know modern romance. Like, I've read some fucking garbage that wishes it was one chapter of a Penelope Neri novel. But let us close out with the mantra of this thing. Forgiveness is a part of love. I just love that. Forgiveness is a part of love. All right. I'm just going to go walk around my house. I don't know. This book was everything to me for a month, and now I've done this recap. Now I don't know what to do with anything anymore. I don't know. Anyways, me and my $4 Goodwill dress are gonna go, I guess. I might go outside and garden. I don't know. Yeah. I'll see y'all next week or next month. All right. Bye.